Welcome to the Smiling Sufferer podcast. On the mic, you got Corey. It's good to be back. 2020, back again. In the room with me, to my left, I have Onyade.
Hi.
And right in front of me, I have Danny.
Hello.
And to my right, I have your boy.
Globetrotter. I like to call it trotter. The man who enjoyed his Christmas holiday, man.
I see.
The
You
man
can see that.
who did 4 continents. The only continent I didn't touch was Australia, man.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait, so tell us
good.
about it. Tell us about it.
everywhere,
What you
bro.
were in Morocco.
I
I know we were both in Morocco.
Yes, I was in Turkey before Morocco
How long were you in Turkey for?
for 3 days.
Okay.
Morocco 3 days.
Uh-huh.
Lagos 3 days. Dubai was like a day and some change.
Damn.
Well, Dubai actually wasn't even that long. Actually,
I was Turkey.
I was only there for New Year's, so it was supposed to be more than. I got sick on my flight. I think my enemies finally caught me.
Okay.
It's like
Or it could have been the food.
That too.
yeah. But no, Dubai was it ended up just being the layover for New Year's period. But the initial plan was to be more than a day. And then there to December, I taken almost all my money too. So
3 days only?
Lagos was a week.
I think so 3 days.
No, to Turkey 3 days, Morocco 3 days, Lagos was a week.
How was Turkey?
It was nice. Never been before, so I was interested in going there.
Did you go to
Yeah.
Istanbul?
Yeah, I heard it was
Istanbul,
gorgeous.
yeah, it's that's probably the biggest airport in the world. You can fact check that. I don't know if it's true, but it felt like it was.
We don't have
Do
fact
we
check
need to do that? I mean,
No, but
if
it
you
felt
want
like
me
it
to.
was because like it's just huge and it's expanding. Just even going from the gate to the plane is like a 15 minutes bus ride. That's how from like the terminal door. But the city itself is beautiful. It's very tourist friendly.
Okay.
There you might think it's like a Muslim country, so you're not really, but it's very tourist friendly. They try and make sure you're good, for the most part. I mean, obviously everyone's gonna try and hustle you here and there, but I never felt unsafe at any point.
Cares.
So what? Cat money?
Oh my God, who the hell cares?
I was like, that was so random.
But yeah, so
I'm going to be using the soundboards this year too.
But yeah, it's beautiful. It spoils me though, because I think I had the best shisha I ever had in my life.
I saw that. I
Yeah,
saw you
the
post
glass-
that, man.
The glass
That should
bottle
look good.
with ice in there and real fruits.
The shisha in Morocco wasn't bad either.
It wasn't bad, but
The only thing
it
about
wasn't as
Morocco is I
fancy.
wasn't crazy about their food. I didn't really think it had a lot of spice.
Yeah,
I
so
didn't think it had a lot of salt in it either.
It has spice,
They
but
don't
not
put
salt.
salt in it.
Yeah, they don't put salt.
Danny, how did you spend your Christmas?
Well, first my dad came to see
Your
me
holiday? Yeah.
because my birthday's on Christmas, so
Oh yes.
so I was
yes.
celebrating
I
my
remember that.
birthday, and then thank you. And then I went down to Nashville, and I went to New Orleans, and I went to Atlanta, and then I came back. Wow. And so I
Oh
had
yeah,
a really
you,
good
you,
time.
you went on a road trip, didn't you?
I did. I went on a road trip. I had a really good time. Yeah, I was gone for about 2 weeks.
So
I needed it.
So wait, how long was that drive again? From Maryland all the way down to Tennessee, right?
10 hours.
It's crazy.
And we drove straight through pretty much.
Wow.
And we didn't stop. It still took us about 10 hours. And then, but from from New Orleans, because it's further south, of course, New Orleans to Maryland was about 18 hours. And we drove straight through.
How's the drive though?
It was great. Well, on the way back, actually, I can't say that because it was really foggy. It was really hard to see. So I was surprised that we didn't stop.
I drove to North Carolina once, and I started seeing some towns that I was hoping my car wouldn't stop. And yeah, I started running across some very weird settlements.
Trump country?
It was definitely Trump country, but it was like there was one town where everybody was riding a bicycle. Only cars that were driving past were cars that had tags from out of town.
That sounds like fun. Riding
I
back
don't
around
know,
the city.
man. It just seemed like a weird place.
By the way, for those that don't know, Danny is a thrill seeker.
She is.
Didn't you recently do like a plunge
I
in the
did.
Potomac River?
I did the polar bear plunge yesterday.
What's the
Potomac, you're right.
Not
Potomac.
Potomac.
Right.
It's not everything you have to use
In
that.
Nigerian, it is Potomac. Potomac. Okay.
But wait, so you jumped into the river?
Right, so you have to run into the ocean, they have guards out that are standing out, like, halfway to about probably, for me, because I'm tall, so probably about the shoulder. And you touch them, and then you go back out into the water, out of the water. It's only like 5 seconds. It doesn't last that long. And yesterday, actually, luckily, it was not that cold.
Oh, it wasn't.
No, because it was probably like only 40 degrees, 50 degrees.
Yeah.
So the water wasn't really that cold.
So
I'm used to cold water.
It's
I'm from
something they
Florida.
do all year.
It was great. And I dressed up as a mermaid, and I went in. It was great.
Is this something they do all year long, or is just like a seasonal?
Well, they do it only usually in the beginning of the year because it raises money for the Special Olympics.
Yeah.
So the Special Olympics happens in the summertime. So they're going to continue to have these type of events, but the polar plunge is the one that kicks it off throughout the year.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
What's the most thrill thing you've ever done, this guy?
Nah, I'm not into. I don't. I want to
You
live
haven't done
long.
stuff like that.
No,
I want to jump out of a plane though.
I want to do that.
I don't know about that. I don't.
I
know
want to
about
do a
that.
tandem.
That's the only one.
But I
Not by myself.
once did one of those. You know those slingshot things. You know, like when they have videos of them.
Yep.
I once did one of those. I was excited. It was in Myrtle Beach. Onyade, what did you get into over the holidays?
Let's see. I went to Morocco as well.
Kilo Kami, what's the money? Who do you do, Skid? I have a very embarrassing video of when I did in Morocco.
We're
So
not going to get into that.
there's a video of her singing this song, just so you know. Drunk when I did. It was all good.
Onyade was lit.
Everybody's lit, yeah.
In Morocco, it's just as watered down as it is in
In Nigeria.
Nigeria, yes.
But for whatever reason, you're lit
know
though.
you're getting
Because you
lit
keep
until
drinking more, yeah.
Because you keep drinking and drinking more. But yeah, I went to Morocco. Beautiful wedding. We were all there.
Yeah.
And then after that, I went to Nice.
She's on the same flight with me.
Beautiful
Oh.
wedding. We were on the same flight. Let me tell.
Wait. You same flight to Nigeria? Wale.
It's not everything you have to say on the podcast. There's some things you say offline. Please don't. Can you not say this on the
There was
podcast?
this one episode. Remember, it was a one Smiling Stuff episode where we talked about
Can you just not say this on the podcast? Like, can you move on? I know what you're about to
I
say.
wanna know.
No. This is not something off the podcast. We'll say one day. I know what you're about to say.
Off the podcast. Off the podcast.
It was a topic that was one.
Yes, I know, I understand, but we'll just move on. Can you move on from this? I'm not.
I'm still
I'm not
curious.
proud about this moment.
Okay.
Like 5
But
episodes,
on the
it was-
plane,
it
can
was
you
the
just
best outside
can you
episode.
just move on from this?
Okay.
I was in Nice. It was a really nice trip, except for the fact that
They lost all our baggage.
bags
That was,
Oh, wow.
yeah, they lost all our bags.
arrived in Nice the day.
I'm glad to hear you all had fun over your holidays. Let's get right into it, man. Let's start off with Afrobeat in the 2019 year, man. I want to do a quick roundup of the big come-ups of 2019. Wale, can you do us the honors?
It's only Burner, man.
Top 3 big, outside of Burna,
We're already done.
big come ups
yeah, of 2019.
outside of Burner.
Yeah, artists.
You just want me to say Naira Marley.
Please say, tell him, please. Tell him.
Naira Marley is Latin.
I'm not sure if
that's about-
Zlatan and
that's-
Naira Marley should be in the
that's about-
same sentence.
Those
though.
are about the two main guys that actually, raised their status from the year before.
Yeah.
Everybody else kind of stayed the same.
Do you remember the argument we were having?
What?
Danny, you were involved in this one too.
Yeah.
We're talking about charts,
Yes.
Oh,
and
yeah.
we were talking about how. Remember when Wale was like, "Oh well, Davido's songs have all fallen off the charts."
Yes.
Yeah, I do remember
Can you
that
tell
one.
us? Can you?
only one song.
Remember when
Only one song.
Listen. Remember when I
Oh,
asked you. Remember
So-
when I told you
Yes.
to give it some time.
So he said, "All right, let me do the top,
Remember when I told you to give it some time?
the top 100 iTunes streams in Nigeria. Number 1 is Vibration by Fireboy.
I
Yeah.
was gonna say,
I'm
like,
gonna
what about-
I'm gonna ignore
Yeah, Fireboy
the
for
next-
sure.
I'm gonna ignore the next 3 because 2 of them are J-Hus, who just dropped a project.
Yeah.
The Box by Roddy Ricch is everywhere in the world. So
My favorite song.
Yeah, exactly. Then
Yeah.
the next one is also Fireboy song. Then all the way down number 7, which will be the third one now, is the only one Davido song that I told you when I came back that unfortunately somehow that song is doing well. Switch in the middle.
Yeah.
After that again, it's still Fireboy.
Yeah.
After that, it's Stars and World.
I'm not.
After that,
Fireboy's
Davido
album was
doesn't
good.
get. Yeah, so it's still.
No, but you're looking at
Fireboy.
it today. We're talking about last week, 2 weeks ago.
It's still
Davido
Fireboy.
albums. There were like
Look,
3
there's
Davido
only-
songs
there's
on there.
The only 3 songs are Sweet in the Middle.
Disturbance.
Disturbance is is number.
It was top
25,
10. No, but it was
24.
top 10 at one point after we talked.
Look, so
I checked.
I told you that the albums that came out at the time were Fireboy's album and Davido's album, and the argument was Fireboy had a better project than Davido.
No, that wasn't the argument. I never.
What was the argument. I said Davido's album was trash.
You said it was trash, but
Well,
what I'm trying to
alright,
prove to
so
you
let me-
was that it's not trash.
Let me rephrase
because
that.
eventually,
So we've had
songs
arguments.
started.
No,
to
hold on.
hit
We've
on the
had
album.
arguments. When this album dropped, I told you and said, look, the reason I call it trash is because a lot of songs didn't stick out to me. But we all know Davido. He does this thing a lot where 2 months later you're singing the song in your subconscious and you're just like,
Like, where
where did this come from? Do you understand? So obviously, and I said on this podcast that obviously there'll be songs that would come that eventually it's a household tune. But on first, second, third, fourth, fifth listen, for someone who hasn't dropped an album in 7 years, that album was below par. And it's still showing because only 2-3 songs on the album are popping. You were shouting about 1 million, all these songs. Only 3 songs are there.
I thought you admitted that the biggest song in Nigeria this whole
I said it's Christmas. Yes, Christmas is
was
a month.
Sweet in the Middle.
It's a month.
Which is a Davido record.
It's a month. Christmas is a month in the year.
You never want to give this guy credit.
He's not number one.
Move on.
Okay.
Biggest songs of 2019.
What's
Overall?
the deal
What's my deal with what?
with that boy?
With Davido?
No,
I told you
it's gonna
that
be a
my-
whole
my expe-
a whole
my ex-
episode
my-
to discuss that.
Look, I told you my expectations of the guy is just it's you haven't given me an album in 7 years, and I feel even Wiz is scared because he keeps pushing back his Made in Lagos album.
You
and
think he's scared?
he's trying to perfect that album. He hasn't given us an album in.
He just dropped a mixtape.
That's a mixtape.
Which was a good
It was a
mixtape.
good mixtape. But
Soundman.
I feel the mixtape was just him trying to get rid of some music and whet people's appetite. But he's still, it's his Wizkid. The standard of album I expect you to drop, even the video, some of the songs, I'm sure there's pressure on him to, the DNG song with Skywalker, is that her name?
Yeah.
Yeah, things like that. You need that because if
Summer Walker.
Summer Walker, I'm sorry, because if you don't drop, I don't know why I said Luke
Get that.
Skywalker. Yeah, but I knew it started with S and he had a Walker in there. But like, there's pressure for him to have a song with Chris Brown. There's pressure for him to have a huge American collab. There's pressure on Davido too to have a huge another Drake huge song and stuff like that. So, on Wiz. So obviously there's pressure on them. But for someone who hasn't done an album in 7 years and you're top 3.
You're saying you were disappointed.
Yes, especially after
And
Burna
that's
came out
fine.
with his
And
album.
that's fine. But what I'm saying is that
it was subpar.
Well, and that's fair. Music is subjective.
It is subjective,
But what I'm just
yeah.
trying to tell you is that we were talking about the charts at the time, and you were trying to prove a point that because all his songs fell off the charts,
Yes.
then that showed something. And what I'm trying to tell you is that weeks after that, a lot of the songs
Danny,
came back top 10.
Do you remember my argument that day? Because I'm sure I was arguing between Davido and Fireboy.
No, we weren't arguing. Because I remember I always said Fireboy's album was
before
fire.
we started this podcast, you said don't cut people off. So can she talk? Can you take your?
No, I was actually taking a breath because I was trying to
okay.
remember the argument myself, to be honest. But I thought it was just about the quality of music and who was going to last on the charts longer between Davido and
Fireboy. And
Fireboy.
Fireboy is still top on the charts.
Fair. I never said
Right, because you're talking about how he had just released an album
Peep-
and he was still in
It
the
was
charts
still
after that week.
After that week, yeah.
Yeah.
And he was
Yeah.
still there,
And
he was still there.
And in that same episode, I acknowledged that Fireboy's album was good. I even said, you know why? Because I went back to listen to it again. But
Yes.
don't worry, just go back listen to it again,
So
and you
who
see.
was overall the end of the year? Who beat who? Who has the top songs or the most songs on the charts? Because I don't know how you're
The
gauging
most
it.
songs on the chart is
By
still
the-
Fireboy.
It's probably
Okay.
Fireboy. It's probably Fireboy.
And it's been so long since Burna dropped his album, so he's falling off. But you're still gonna see a couple Burna songs here and there, and obviously because the charts change, like just Roddy Ricch just dropped his project.
Yeah.
And Nigerians actually listen to a lot of hip hop, so things like that come in, they would eventually take its own course too. But somehow Fireboy is still staying in that top tier, maybe till the Wiz drops his album, maybe, or something else.
So this brings me to my next question: what artist should we be looking out for in 2020?
It's even too hard to say. It's too easy to say Fireboy because he's.
He's already.
he's
That's already
proven.
a given. That's
to
already
be
a given.
honest, man. No one really.
You are in Nigeria now.
No one really.
Did you have your,
no one
your
really
air
gave
to the
me,
streets?
Everyone gave me like a 1 song type of vibe or 2 songs max. No one really gave me a 2020 is going to be their year.
Or maybe you should ask the question of what are you expecting? Like, who do you expect to drop something that's going to be amazing this year?
I think Wiz is going to drop something amazing.
Wiz? I think so.
I think
too.
he's going to drop something very beautiful.
Wizkid.
I really think, and not only because I like it as a person, but I actually think and the fact that he keeps pushing it back and he keeps trying to, he's really, really trying hard because he knows that he can't really give us. I'll be disappointed if he gives us the same sound he's been giving for a long time, because it's like, all right, bro, I keep going back to Burna, but now your friend or your colleague dropped an album, and now he might get a Grammy on Sunday tomorrow. That's a big move. You really can't. It doesn't get bigger than that. It's like, what's your excuse at this point? So, but who am I looking up for this 2020? To be honest, nobody, man. Like, I'm not looking forward to anybody. I think people will come out this year, drop music that would like 1 song, 2 songs, 3 songs. But I don't know anybody that will have a...
Because we called quite a few of them last year.
Yes,
remember?
we did, because last year they gave us good songs towards the end of the year. This year, somebody who would have... I called out Peruzzi 2 years ago, last year, and, now we're saying that he's giving all his songs to Davido,
and we're gonna address that.
Get to that, yeah. But
we're gonna address that.
He's writing for him.
He's giving.
There was this big scandal. We're gonna go over it.
But he's giving Davido all his songs and all his hit songs, and we'll get to that.
We'll get to
so
that.
Peruzzi didn't really have. He had like 1 or 2 major songs this year, but last year, but that was it.
So what? How about what?
Trying to see.
What
Let me look at my chart.
Afrobeat artist do you think is ready to make the international leap? The way Burna Boy made the leap into mainstream American music. What's the next Afrobeat or Afro artist or even African artist do you think has that potential
to make the leap?
Yes.
I think the closest person would be Mr. Eazi.
So Mr. Eazi's always made that. He's always been there.
I feel like I feel like he should have made that leap already. I feel like he's on the cusp.
I'm not.
And for those that don't know, Mr. Eazi was the guy we played in the intro song. That was I forgot to introduce that song. Sarkodie, featuring Mr. Eazi. It's called "Do You." But yeah, so
all right. So let's this. I'm not. This year, I'm not really expecting another. Burna was not a fluke. I've been following Burna for a while, so it wasn't a fluke. But to me, in hindsight, it kind of looked like a fluke.
Yeah.
But with Davido, so this is why I'm not expecting Mr.
Why
Eazi.
do you say a fluke though before you go on?
Because people who were not really, you're not really seeing. Burna actually went from some people call him underrated to people call him overrated. Burna had a cult following.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden it grew huge, and a lot of people came. Like the concert we went to, there were some songs he was playing, and I could hear girls in the background say, "I don't know the song," and that's because to a lot of people they cut their attention like when Ye dropped, but they would tell you, "I've known Burna because you might know 1 or 2 of his old songs, but they haven't seen the grind." For the rest of us, we've been seeing that push, we've been seeing him getting better, so to you, it might just seem like Burna just. He had a few good songs back in the days, but man, he just put himself together, and then this was his year. It wasn't this was his year. He was been building up to this being his year.
So what you're trying to say is that you don't think there's necessarily going to be anyone this year?
Because I haven't seen anybody.
We haven't seen anyone.
Easy, and there are different types of experience. When we did the top 5 artists, top 10, I put Mr. Eazi in my chart, and people still message me saying, "Why is Mr. Eazi a top artist in your top 10?" I'm like, because I'm not putting him based on music, but I'm putting him based on Mr. Eazi is known in parts of Europe.
Rich.
He's known in parts of Asia. He has a reach that you guys don't even know about. And then, so I'm putting him ahead of some of your faves because he has a huge reach. Now, there's the difference between personality and your package, your whole package. I keep mentioning his name, but Davido falls short on the whole package because he's very loud and out there, and he's like quick. It's quick. It's very exactly. So he's like, he fits in with, but that's it. But see the artist he fits in.
Make it anyway.
He fits in with a little baby or the baby. But some of these guys, that they have so much potential and talent, and sometimes they don't last. I'm not saying they wouldn't last, but sometimes they don't last. But Wiz, like, even when I watch Americans do reaction videos, because sometimes I find it funny because they're always trying to decode the songs.
Yeah.
But a lot of them, when they play a Wizkid song, it's not even more about they like the song. It's about they start talking about him as a person, not just the song. With the video, they play the video song, and they're like, oh shit, this is fire and everything. But with Wiz, they start saying stuff like, oh, do you follow him on Instagram? The way they have a personal connection with his personality, because then they're like, who's this guy? He has a star quality. That's the word I'm looking for. Same thing happening with Burna now. He has the star presence quality. See the kind of
Burna has left
see the,
us.
see, see the
He
kind
has
of
left us.
We'll get to the Peruzzi stuff, but look at the kind of stories that come out of Davido's camp. You know, there was a rumor of that they killed somebody one time. There was a rumor. Yeah, there's always some dirty story.
But did you guys notice how this turned into like another Davido bashing?
Well, no, I
session?
have a question now, just because I have another question because I'm a novice to the whole genre in general.
Yeah.
So, but the only maybe 3 or 4 people that I ever hear is Davido, Burna Boy, and Wiz.
Yeah.
So I want to know who would you be looking for to do something outside of these people?
Techno is one person, but Techno is a guy called Techno, and let me tell you when you know. This is how I knew it was even Burna's turn. When Drake started calling Burna to write for his what's that album he did? More Life.
Yeah.
You know, Drake's always ahead of the game in this
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
That's when you know who's next. Techno is another person that they actually know. They call to produce. The song Sway Lee tried to do an Afrobeat song with Drake was produced by Techno, and Techno was Techno. I don't know if he was on the song, but he produced the song. Yeah. So they know this guy. But Techno does not have.
I don't think
He doesn't have what he doesn't have the management. He doesn't have what it takes to push himself. Mr. Eazi too does just not have it yet. But his team has been amazing in what they've been able to do.
Yeah.
I feel like Eazi has reached. I don't want to say his peak, but he's good.
I have a name. I have a
What
name for y'all.
Rema.
Yeah.
Rema. I thought of Rema.
And he's being pushed.
I thought of Rema.
He's being pushed by
But-
people in the industry here.
But where Rema loses me is I like his, and this is just 1-2 songs, the Spider-Man songs and this one. I mean, you get Obama endorsing you and stuff like that. But I'm like, Rema, man, I like it when you do a song like Lady, like when you do your authentic Nigerian song, because that's what's gonna push you further than you trying to sound like a
Like a little baby.
like a little baby, or what's the guy that died?
So what are the elements of
Juice WRLD.
Juice WRLD, Juice WRLD, yeah.
What are the elements of a Nigerian song? Because you said
Afrobeat song.
Afrobeat,
So
just-
it's the beats.
beats.
It's more drum heavy. The sound itself,
Yeah.
it's more you write the beat more than
and then the chorus is very repetitive.
very
usually.
repetitive.
Okay.
The melody,
It's like a chant.
yeah.
Almost.
With you have when I say Juice WRLD songs, they have nice melodies.
Yeah.
But it's more like I don't want to say depressing, but
So when they cross over, the elements change to what?
so Rema, I think, to be honest, I think that's really who he is.
Yeah.
I think
he's
the
like a
other-
rapper.
yeah,
He's like a
he
Juice
likes
WRLD type
that.
of
He's
rapper.
really like a Juice
He
WRLD.
likes that. He's like one of these young artists that likes that rapping. But
But-
then he could also do the Afrobeat thing too. And
Okay.
he's good at both of them.
But the problem I see is when you're an outsider, music doesn't necessarily accept you that well
Yeah.
when you're doing a Juice WRLD sound, but you're a guy who was born in Lagos
Yes.
and you were in Nigeria. The media, but if you put an authentic, quote unquote, Afrobeat sound,
Yeah.
they would more embrace you more on that. I mean, the song Obama picked was not one of his Afrobeat songs. It was one of the.
What song did he pick?
I think he put Spider-Man. Spider-Man
I don't
was in
remember.
Obama's playlist, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, the one on his playlist.
And you're saying that they'll accept you because it's more authentic
The Nigerian sound.
worldwide?
Worldwide, I think
Or
now,
just-
and now that Afrobeat is the main genre
Yeah.
coming up now, that's if you really want to push yourself as an artist, I think that's where you should stick to, because now it's like when there was the wave of reggae and dancehall, and then the Sean Pauls and them came out.
That's exactly
So there will be songs. You hear so many songs, but you'd only remember now. Today we're only remembering Sean Paul, Shaggy, just a handful of them, and that's how I feel it's going to be like. We're always going to remember Wiz, Davido, Burna.
Yeah.
I don't know anyone else that might join that list yet, but plenty people will come this year who you start hearing their songs on the radio.
I think
but are they going to last? Are they going to be a household name? I don't know.
I think Fireboy too has a potential to be able to
I think so too.
crossover.
I think so too.
Because Fireboy, remember you said you listened to it and you actually enjoyed it. I think he said it himself. He said he doesn't even classify himself as just Afrobeat. Like he calls it Afro R&B.
Okay.
Where it's like strong elements of R&B and he infuses some Afro elements in it. And he's really, really good at that.
Okay.
I feel like Fireboy was the Brymo we never got, where he can hop on a ballad and just
And just kill it,
destroy
yeah.
the thing. Unfortunately, Brimo just never materialized to what we hoped for. But
music is tough, man. Because
it is.
Fireboy
It is.
now he has a lot of pressure on his
It is.
his shoulders, and
It
it's
is.
like, how do you deal with it? Do you come out and give us another, and he might be chasing that jealous song, throughout, because that was the song that brought him out there. So music is tough. I don't blame these guys.
Do you remember when Fireboy and Joe Boy were like
Yeah,
together like
and
this?
that's the same thing too. I was gonna say. So Fireboy
Now
and Joe Boy, because
Fireboy is just
Joe
moving
Boy's
on.
project dropped, and I played Joe Boy first.
Yep.
Here,
Yeah.
and his project dropped, and I was I don't want to say disappointed.
That Joe Boy put out where they're still.
No, it's good. They have a
They-
song. I think
yeah.
they even have a song. Oh, I think
They
Joe
have
Boy
a
and
fo-
Michael
song
has
together?
a song together. I think it's Joe Boy and Michael.
Oh,
have a song.
okay.
But no, Joe Boy. But I don't know. Fireboy just did the right thing, man. It's hard when you have a single, because it wasn't like he dropped an album. He was on a song, on a mixtape, the record label mixtape. He was on a song, Jealous. Everybody heard the song and loved the song off the mixtape.
And
And
that
then
was
for
it.
you to take that momentum and start dropping more singles and
never
then drop a
looked back.
fire album is very
He
hard.
never. I mean, this dude
very
has
hard.
literally been dominating that
It's
chart
hard.
since his album dropped.
But it's
every
t-
song on it, Vibration.
Yeah.
He's got Basbos, which people like. He's got Like I Do,
Scatter,
which
people
Onyade and I
like,
are
yeah.
crazy about now.
Yeah,
he has Scatter.
He has a lot of songs.
There's a lot of bangers on that album.
But I
It's
tell
really,
you
really
something,
good.
for any Afrobeat artist listening,
I
this
say?
What if I
2020
say King?
is your year
King.
as an Afrobeat artist,
Yeah.
because this Afrobeat wave is not going to stay forever.
It's only getting bigger.
It's going to get big to an extent where it's going to reach its peak, and then it will dwindle down over the years, and then eventually probably stay in like a steady, stabilizing a level.
But it hasn't peaked yet.
It hasn't picked yet.
hasn't
But
peaked
so
yet.
I feel like between this year and next year,
this is the time.
because what's going to happen now is,
Once Burna Boy gets on that Grammy stage,
yes,
if he
you
does,
not only even that, you're having, Drake did More Life. Wasn't More Life, it was Views. Views was an Afrobeat album.
yeah.
He did Views, was 4 years ago.
Views was not an Afrobeat album.
Views was Afrobeat slash
It had some Afrobeat.
reggae.
Yes.
He himself said it now.
He had some Afrobeat elements,
Yes, now
but it
Views was
wasn't an Afrobeat album.
It wasn't an album, but it was inspired by Afrobeat.
yes,
Drake has his moments where it sounds.
it did.
Views was inspired by Afrobeat, and that's when One Dance and everything came in.
It did.
Now this was years ago, and even at the time, people looked at him funny. Culture vulture, everything. But now people can see that
I didn't even draw that association at all.
a lot of people call him culture vulture.
I didn't grasp that at all. Now that you're talking about it, I still don't pick it up
What,
from One
the
Dance.
Views?
Yeah, for
Yeah,
views.
One
I didn't think that.
Dance,
I just
it-
thought it was
it
a
was-
different
It has an
album,
undertone,
and he's
like
just
the-
sampling a lot of different.
Yeah.
It was
he's bored.
originally produced by an African producer,
It's
like Afrobeat
yeah,
producer.
Wiz.
It
There's
was
a
SARS,
version,
right?
SARS. There's a version of without Drake on it.
And then they gave that beat to 40, his
Yeah, his
Drake's,
Drake's
in-house
producer, yeah.
producer.
Okay.
And he just tweaked it up.
Tweaked it up. Then they
Put
decided to
some
get the
sparkle on
girl,
it, and he
the
gave-
British girl.
Yep.
And that's
and
what
he gave
Drake does it
his
best.
first number one.
Yes, he does it best. He does it best where and
First
then
number one
he's like,
record.
all right, we'll take Wiz and just put him at the undertone at that part where the beat changes, and it's worked. It's perfect. He's a genius.
So but I want to get to the Peruzzi.
Okay. So there's a thing going on with Peruzzi and Davido.
Aha, walk us through.
Peruzzi is an artist signed to Davido who 2 years ago, I thought he would have a good year this year because he had talent, but he was never really dropping out the music to match the talent.
Yeah.
Then he dropped out, a song called Majesty last year, and but we always
also
have
dropped
this.
Nana.
But we always have these small little debates of we can tell when Davido switches writers,
Yeah.
and it's look, I know I say his name a lot, but like we have this thing where we can tell like when he switches his sound and his writer. I can tell when Walt
like,
writes a song for him.
So Davido, he's almost like, the way they used to say Drake had a sweatshop full of songwriters.
OVO
He
music.
doesn't write his own music.
No, so OVO.
I didn't know that.
Well, so they claim Drake doesn't write his music. Drake writes his music.
He writes a lot
I
of his
feel like
music.
he writes his own music.
But-
No, he writes a lot of his
Because
music.
I always feel you could tell a Drake song just like you
No,
could tell
yeah,
a Kanye West
exactly.
song.
But
He writes a
OVO
lot of his music, but he also has a lot of people that
So
help
this
him
is
write.
this is.
Yeah,
Let me give you an
everybody needs a little
example
help
of
writing.
what they mean by right. Is how City Girls song was written by that City Girls major song was written by
Someone helps him write that.
What's the name of that guy?
He has
the one that has red hair
I
like
didn't think
this.
they
He
had
has red
writers.
hair and braids. He He has red hair and beads on his hair.
I'm blanking now.
Red hair?
Yeah, like red, like.
Because when you said beads, I thought, what is it, Little Yachty?
Lil
Yeah,
Yachty, yes.
Lil Yachty, yeah.
Lil Yachty wrote.
Okay.
He wrote
and
it.
not that he wrote it.
hair.
He has red dreads.
Does he?
Yeah, he does.
Well, braids,
He has
whatever.
beads, yeah.
But Lil Yachty didn't just like write it. He performed the song.
Yeah.
And handed it over to them. So when they say write, that's what they mean by for Drake, and that doesn't happen with Drake. You know, Drake might have maybe one or two, yeah, but. Well, anyways, now that is
Yeah, it's
Davido.
part of the industry.
But that is
Yeah, it is.
But that is Davido. Davido is smart at seeing a song and taking it.
And there's nothing wrong with
There's
that.
nothing wrong with him. That's
Yeah.
him. That's who he is.
Yes.
He hops on a song, and the funny thing is, you would hear the original version, you hear the Davido's version. It's the same lyrics, but when he sings it
sounds
sounds
nicer.
better.
Yep.
So
Exactly.
I give that to him. You know,
The
he's
artist is supposed to be.
in the
Yeah.
past he's
He's a performer.
in the past, he's actually bought a song, like a song that was released already online, but by an unknown artist. And 2 years later, he went to buy the song from the guy and just put it as his own song, made it faster, changed the beats just a little bit, and you know they had the guy take off his own version, you know, and nothing knocks his hustle off. We all know the Davido version. So Peruzzi was signed to him. I can't hear myself.
We can hear you.
So Peruzzi was signed to him, and
Yeah, I can barely hear you, but go on.
Can
go
you
on.
guys- can you guys hear me?
I'm working on it. I'm working on
all
it.
right, so,
I can hear
so
you. I can
Peruzzi
hear
was signed to the supposedly signed to Davido's record label. Davido used to have a record label called HKN, and he switched over to DMW, which is Davido Music Worldwide.
you. Yeah.
At the launching of the label, he signed Mayokun, then he signed Dremo, he signed this guy called Peruzzi. So we thought, until one day some guy comes on Twitter and says, "Hey, Davido owes me money." Why? Because Peruzzi is his artist. What's going on here? So it turns out all this while, Davido never actually signed Peruzzi. It was just a photo op.
Yep.
They had lawyers there. They had this whole announcement, but nothing was actually signed. Peruzzi was signed to some other guy. I forget the name of the record label, but this guy's name is Kingsley, something like that.
Yeah, Patrick Kingsley.
Patrick,
something like
yeah,
that.
but he was signed to this guy. This
Patrick. King
guy
Patrick.
says he's Peruzzi used to be like a medical student. He's funded his school, everything. Eventually, when he gave up for school, he's funded his music. And he signed him to a 2-year contract. I think shortly after that, Peruzzi somehow linked up with Davido.
Yeah.
And I think the goal was, okay, for you to be writing songs for Davido and we get paid. Somehow, somewhere in the middle, Davido takes Peruzzi as his own person.
As his own artist.
As his own artist. Peruzzi starts living with Davido. Peruzzi is repping Davido, DMW.
Before you know it, we hear Davido is dating Peruzzi's cousin.
Then a rumor comes out that Davido is dating this girl called Choma. That's the girl. That's his fiance right now. His baby mama. And then Davido himself goes on radio to say Choma is Peruzzi's cousin. Oh, that's nice. You signed your girl's cousin. You know, it works for the aesthetics.
Yeah.
You know, and just listen to how I'm putting it out there because that's how it comes out.
It was like, well, family.
Well, family, you know, we rise by lifting others, you know, his favorite bullshit term.
Nepotism.
But yes.
It doesn't
basic-
have to be
basic
bullshit.
I mean, it just sounds like
term. Come on.
nepotism, but I don't hear the
No,
scandal
but
yet.
yeah, but so anyway, so Peruzzi is doing his thing. Peruzzi is really, and to be honest, I do believe Davido helps people out. I don't think he's a mean person, but he's smart too. So anyways, that's all fine and good and everything. So this guy comes out and starts laying this accusation that Peruzzi is my artist. And to put out proof, you know, he dropped a version of one of Davido's biggest songs 2 years ago called Fire, which was actually Peruzzi's song. And Peruzzi gave it to Davido.
Huge record.
Huge record. Now, this guy starts saying that actually every song Davido has dropped since then, except one song that flopped, has been written by Peruzzi. But here's the problem. He's yet to see a check. Because the deal was supposed to be, my artist is your writer. Pay me. But they never paid him. They never paid him any dime. They kept taking the music.
According to him.
They kept taking the music and they just kept dropping it. And Peruzzi kept performing as a DMW artist. So
Was Peruzzi getting paid?
Peruzzi probably getting paid for stuff, but he's performing as a DMW artist. So the first thing this guy was able to achieve was get all Peruzzi's official songs off streaming platforms. I don't know if it's back on right now, but he got it off. Then this thing started getting messy, where Davido starts, trolling the guy, starts calling him names.
Yeah, they started insulting
each other, and then this guy starts to drop some quote-unquote facts. We don't know how true it is. Fact number one is Chioma is not Peruzzi's cousin.
According to
him. Allegedly, Chioma is actually Peruzzi's ex-girlfriend. Yes. Who he gave to Davido when him and Davido became cool.
Gave to her as an artist.
As an artist. He handed over his
I didn't think they were swapping.
No, just give it to her. Like, that's your...
And if you hear the lyrics
then he says, if you listen to Fire, it was actually written by Peruzzi as a shade to Davido. And in the lyrics of the song, it's about a guy singing to a girl saying, you're asking me to do things that I used to love you, but it's too late now. You're asking me to do, things that I wouldn't do. Like if what's the word? What's the one he used in the song? Basically, if you want another man to run my race, if he said you don't have money, hide your face. It's basically saying like, yeah, because I'm poor, broke. Long story short, now that rumor had been going around before that. Chioma is allegedly, yeah. That's a very nice picture, man. He's sweet in the middle.
Nice pictures.
But anyways, the rumor was that allegedly was that the videos. So rumors have been coming out that Davido knew Chioma.
Scandal.
He knew Chioma went a long time ago, and then some people actually came out saying, nah, not necessarily. He just met her, but aesthetics sounds better when you've known her from time. You signed her cousin, not her ex-lover. There's a lot of better looking aesthetics. Now, my thing to him is, all right, so it looks like it's proven that they're not cousins because they haven't come out to...
Yes.
They're not cousins. But why did Davido have to go on live radio to actually break the news that Peruzzi and Chioma are cousins? What do you gain from that? Except you become the guy who signed...
It sounds like he's just trying to set the record straight since there's so many rumors out there.
But this was before the rumors came out.
This before the rumors?
Yeah, this was before the rumors.
Oh, then I don't know.
Then
It was almost like he was trying to set it
set
up.
it up in case it came out. Yeah. Then it's why you doing a photo op with your lawyer, everybody there, and this guy is not actually signing anything, and you're saying welcome to the family when you actually can't legally sign him as an artist because he's signed to somebody else. What's going on there too? Now, Peruzzi is acting like the money he's been asked to pay is Trump change. It's nothing. But
it's actually 43 million naira,
which is over like $200,000, something like that.
Yeah,
and
good chunk of change.
But he's acting like it's nothing. You get your money from me. Like, is this why you're stressing out? Peruzzi doesn't have 43 million naira. He doesn't have 200,000 naira. But so that's the allegation right now. The allegation right now is, and then this guy claims that the times he's tried to meet up with them, they jumped him. One time they actually poisoned his drink. That might be paranoia or it might be true because
he's saying a lot.
He's saying a lot of stuff because he's then referencing it to the guy who, because Peruzzi came out to say he's a crackhead, and the guy
sounds like a soap opera.
It sounds like a soap opera.
Like major, in fact, you could have write on this.
Yeah, you can. So he sounded so Peruzzi said he's a crackhead.
Wait, I want to play the last thing, the last audio.
Like.
Oh yeah, play the last audio. Yeah.
Right. No matter the time money with Peruzzi don't see for this life, he's still my boy, and I'll put him in his place. As I speak to you now, I have Davido songs on my phone that he has not released that are owned by Golden Boy Entertainment. I have Peruzzi songs for Davido that he has not released that are owned by Golden Boy Entertainment. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. One of his songs, nothing. I'm sure it's not being jam. Amaka, everything since Fire, after Fire. The only song that is not written by Peruzzi is the worst song he released since After Fire, which is what? Guess what? Flora My Flower. That's the worst song that he released, actually. And guess who wrote that song? He wrote that song. That's why you how untalented he is. I don't even care if you're recording this phone call. I don't care. Tell them I said, pay me. Pay my money or I'll come for you. And I don't even expect them to pay me. If they don't pay me, I will still collect it. Now Davido is begging. He came to Abuja to come and beg now. I told him that, but I don't listen to broke people like they beg you on this. They are begging me on the side. As I'm talking to you.
Yeah.
So anyway, so he's claiming outside of the whole antics Davido is putting on social media, he's trying to actually settle it with the guy, and he's saying one thing on social media, but he's begging the guy on the other side. He claims every song after Fire except the whack one, which was Flower My Flowers. Actually,
I actually like that song.
It's one of Davido's worst songs. It didn't really do well.
Like it.
Actually, it didn't really. His fans didn't really. It didn't really do well. Like that was a song. I didn't even perform it. You know, I don't even. Yeah, but he claims that's the only song Davido wrote. And about Untalented, it's a leap because even if Davido buys every song, the art of making a song a hit song is still a sort of talent. Yeah. So that I can't give to him that Davido's untalented. Let's just even claim he buys every song he sings. It's still the art of him taking, because when you listen to the songs, there's still a difference in, even if it's just him dropping ad-libs somewhere, raising a tempo somewhere, it's still a talent on its own. It's sound, yeah. So that part is just someone that is salty, obviously. But it's just weird that not only is this a money issue, then there's a love triangle between the three, Davido, Peruzzi, and Chioma, which is the one that is really like, messy. Whoa, where did this come from?
It's really messy. It's really messy.
And I think he should just get his household in order. I think Davido should just pay the guy the money. He's able to pay this guy $200,000. This guy gets paid $200,000 for one show. I'm pretty sure he's not broke. Take a show, you can pay that money. One show, you pay that money. If you don't even want to use the money you already have, so pay this guy. Let this guy go. Take that L in terms of this thing. Try and actually, if it's true that Peruzzi was your fiance's ex-lover, try and have them come out and just, you can give us another BS story.
If that is true, that's some damaging news to put out there.
You know, that's someone's fiance, so...
But all of that is just for distraction.
It is for distraction.
It's just distraction because the point is that you owe me money.
Yes. So why are you bringing up this?
That's the point.
So it's a character assassination.
Right.
It damages.
You're just muddying the water because you want to embarrass him.
For a conservative country like Nigeria, it damages Chioma, the girl,
and it makes her look like
a groupie or
like a slag.
And there have been rumors that she is out there. She used to be an out there person, which is fine. But it doesn't. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't change anything. Then
it changes absolutely.
Suddenly, after the whole thing happened, after the whole news happened, trust people to go find out that they unfollowed each other on Instagram, Davido and Chioma. And then I was like, why are you guys even worried about? I feel they'll be fine. I feel they'll get married. They will be fine. Even if they don't get married, they'll be fine either ways. But soap opera aside, on the music industry side, this is where I'm more concerned about. I feel the only person who's going to lose out here is Peruzzi. Because if his music is still off streaming platforms, you can't make money directly. If this guy is able to get a lawsuit, you can't perform. If you're signed until you pay this money, and that's money not coming to your pocket.
If you can't perform,
and Davido
as an
can
artist
easily just be like, you're not signed to Davido, so he can actually just drop you off and be like, you know what, man, go fight this battle yourself, and you will lose out.
But Peruzzi is the main writer, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, he's the
writer.
writer.
Then there's always going to be a space in it for him.
But Davido could always find new writers.
Yeah, well, he doesn't need to be under him. He might probably try to branch out and do something else, right?
Yes, you can. Writing in Nigeria probably doesn't give you as much money as being an artist in Nigeria. Okay. And what happens is...
Because in American music,
yes, you can. Like but in Nigeria, no. Because we don't have like royalties yet set properly. There's a lot of pirated music. So people make their money from performances. So they make their money from shows, which is why they always want to do shows. So Davido can make a lot of money from one show that he might make from royalties. Now, that's why when they have the likes of Wiz, Burna, Davido have more money, because here then they have distributions here. Mm-hmm. They have a system here where whenever his song gets played here, he gets money.
Right.
So that works for him. Whenever One Dance gets played anywhere in the world, whenever, Blow My Mind gets played everywhere in the world, whatever, and the other one he has with Chris Brown, whenever it gets played anywhere in the world, he gets money. Yeah. But in Nigeria, they don't get money. Mm-hmm. So as a writer, Peruzzi is not probably making a lot of money. As an artist, he's probably making more money.
Yeah. Okay.
And if your right to be an artist is taken away from you because it's tied under law issues, then you're stuck. And it's now up to Davido, because Peruzzi doesn't have that $200,000 to pay. So it's up to Davido to say, I'll pay this for you. And if Davido decides to say, hey, you know what, man, you're giving me too much negative press, be gone.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's time for him to branch out, go to a
He's
different
on his
market.
own.
Yeah. It's something
because he doesn't have to stay in Nigeria. He can branch out, go somewhere.
Yeah, but
where he's gonna get money.
Is it a matter of? But the problem is, right? What's his own vision in life? We've seen this soap opera that they have going on, it's very clear to me that he doesn't really have a strong vision, because you look at the artist under Davido and even other Nigerian artists. Mayokun is doing very well. Mayokun has a house, has a car. This dude lives in Davido's house. I don't even know if he has a car. And you can't really be telling me that you've been writing all these bangers for him and you're still reliant on Davido saying, hey, let's go to the States for a show. Hey, let's go. You can't really do this as your own person.
Is he young too? I'm just how
old is he? I don't know.
Like 20 something.
I don't know.
Like I'm saying that makes a difference in just
and
being manipulated.
To be honest, it's pretty dope for you to have, Davido as your boy. Like, you're in his house, you're in his space, you're on his private jet and everything. But like, are you your own person? What's your business like? And this definitely looks like he doesn't have his business handle, because I can't be writing for someone for 2 years.
According to Google, he's 30 years old.
Oh, okay. So I can't be writing for somebody for 2 years, like write for you. I'm with you every time, and you're actually not even legally signed to the person. Where the person you actually signed, it's a lot of dirty.
It doesn't sound like good music business.
Yes, it doesn't sound like good business.
No,
the business
like he
doesn't
took
seem like.
Yes, he had an opportunity, and he didn't figure out what his next steps were.
Yes,
from the outside looking in, that's what I think. Yeah. So. Hopefully he kind of gets it together and he moves, because if he's that good of a writer, I think he is.
Like everything he writes is so good.
Smartest person
he can do that for somebody else, and they'll probably not take advantage of him and manipulate
the smartest
him and
and
set him up.
shittiest person in this whole thing is Davido. Davido is the smartest.
I don't know. I
think it's the smartest.
I don't know about shadiest. I think Davido just saw an opportunity, and he's gonna take the opportunity. He's not gonna.
Okay, don't let me say shady.
It's
songs
you're
right.
You're getting somewhat free labor.
Yeah, you're right. If you're getting free
all you
labor,
gotta do is let the person stay in your house.
But
I mean,
the smartest person here is Davido, because Davido has no liability to this. Nope. It's a case of, and this is why he's able to throw, which is why this other guy is going through the whole angle of them bringing in Chioma's name and bringing in this dirty laundry.
He's trying
because he's not trying to get
this
guy to, because he knows that Peruzzi can't give him this money.
Yeah. But we should move on. We should move on. I want to switch gears for a little bit. I want to talk about the year of return. Are you guys familiar with it? Year of return in Ghana.
Yeah.
It's this big campaign that the Ghanaian president came up with in 2019, and it was under their Ghana Tourism Authority.
It's funny enough. Someone just sent me a thing that Peruzzi bought a house. He says acquires a new home and he shows it off on. I don't always believe this guy till I say it, but hey, they literally just sent me the video today, right now.
Really?
So I guess maybe he's getting his money in order now.
Maybe.
So.
But one of the main goals of the Year of Return campaign in Ghana was basically to position Ghana as a key travel destination for African Americans and Africans in the diaspora, and also to encourage people to come back and move back home. It's been very huge. From all the things I've heard, it's been quite successful also. You've actually had African Americans and, black British born kids moving back to Ghana, setting up businesses. I found it to be very, 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 like a really, really brilliant plan. Do you guys have any take on this? Do you guys know have any other information on this?
But I definitely see a lot of not just people from around the world, but celebrities too going to visit.
Yeah.
The slave dungeons.
Yes.
That is a huge
yes. Ludacris went back and he went to visit too. I saw videos of that.
Yeah. The fact that they have a tourism economy.
Yes.
In Ghana is huge, because tourism is one of the main things or major things that stimulate the economy. Right?
Yep.
And bring money in from all over the world.
Yep.
And African Americans were in this whole right now
pro-African,
all that stuff, right? So they actually want to go back and get to their quote unquote roots,
yes.
Right? So having that as one of the tourist attractions, it was a major part of it. In addition, like the festivals, the performances.
Yeah.
One of my really good friends, one of my best friends, he's Ghanaian.
Yeah.
And he often, goes back, because he was telling me about how I think it's like they made like billions of dollars.
Really?
Yeah. Off of just what is it called? Sorry. The name of the movement.
Of the Year of the Return.
The Year of Return. Off of that alone.
Wow.
Because of the festivals and the tourism.
Yeah, they had like a big music concert there too. It was the Afro Nation.
Exactly. He said that you could. If you
that was the one that
book your accommodations in advance, forget it. You did not have a place to stay. Hotels were booked. Tourist activities were booked. Restaurants were full. Just every single thing you can think of.
Yeah.
So it's really good and crazy, and then they got a good experience from it.
Wow. So you see, so that happened in Ghana, right? And there are other countries that have kind of tried to replicate it. And there are other countries that are trying to encourage people to come back home. I think even in Sierra Leone, they encouraged Idris Elba to come get a passport. So he's a Sierra Leonean national now. I guess his parents were also Sierra Leonean. I think his mom was Ghanaian. But I bring this up to say Nigeria has also hopped on the bandwagon. And initially, I was cynical.
I heard that was fake.
I was cynical.
Because of money?
It was?
No, like I heard that they put out a statement saying that the door of return.
Yeah, the door. So
No, I don't think it's called the door of return, though.
Like
there was something out there that
No,
was
it's not called
door
door
of
of return.
return.
or social media.
No, I don't think it's called door of return.
It
There's
is.
a name.
For Nigeria, it
So
is.
I do believe Nigeria is getting involved in it because Nigeria now is the only African country that has visa on arrival for anyone with a African passport. So once you have any passport from any country in Africa, you don't need a visa to go to Nigeria. You just once you get to the airport, they give you a visa on arrival. And it's a thing of they look. We were in Lagos. Lagos probably made more money in December than some cities in America probably make in a year. Lagos made a whole lot of money, and I'm not even trying to be funny. Like they make the amount of foreigners you have. Just even Morocco, that we went to Morocco. He had 150 guests, and I'm pretty sure everybody's probably spent almost $1,000 on that trip minimum. So you just imagine that's 150 grand just from one 3-day event. So, but then imagine Lagos that has millions and millions and millions of people coming into the country. Ghana was wise. Ghana, I don't know if you guys spoke about it because I blanked out real quick, but you can vote if you in the diaspora, which is
You can't blank out now. We're having a conversation.
I was looking at the Peruzzi stuff.
We can't.
I was trying to.
We have to. Remember we talked about this
No,
last
because
year.
I was looking
we
at
have
the
to
Peruzzi
respect
stuff.
I was
our
like, I don't
audience.
agree.
I was
But-
listening when I listened, I was like,
No, because I was looking at the
Okay,
Peruzzi
you are looking at
stuff. Yeah,
Peruzzi.
because
Okay,
we just
fair,
spoke
fair,
about
fair.
it, and if
Okay,
he's
okay,
like
okay, fair.
getting his money in check, we got to come back and
Fair.
retract that before be like, oh
Fair.
my god, you be
Fair,
right. So,
fair. Okay,
But
okay.
anyways, but there's something I heard about like you can vote if you're Ghanaian but you don't live in the country or what it's which. Now, when you're allowing people in the diaspora to determine some outcome, it can have its pros and cons.
Yes.
But one of the pros is we're very used to a lifestyle we have here, so now we can probably, project that into that economy down there.
We can.
When now we have the power to do that.
And I'm glad you. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but I'm glad you brought that up. So you're saying that the door of return was a fake thing, right?
Yeah, it
Because
was like
I thought it was a real thing. I just searched. It looks like you're right. It might have been a fake thing.
yeah.
But that leaves the question: we should be having a program like that.
Well, I want to also
Just like
mention.
you just
said.
I also want to
Do
mention
it.
too that this is not the first time. Actually, as I'm listening to him, think this is not the first time they tried to do this. They tried to do this back in the 60s and 70s.
Okay.
Oh, they did.
Ghana?
No,
Yeah,
maybe-
well, it was all
maybe
over.
Africa, yeah.
But in Africa, just in general, they were saying
Oh.
like, there's segregation
You can
and
come
you're
back.
being treated poorly, so you need to go back. Well, people just going wherever. They didn't know where they were going.
I think
Yeah.
I remember.
They just
Cars
worked.
had to line up.
Yeah.
I think I remember.
So now
now-
they're doing this again.
But now it's better.
Yeah.
It's
And
better,
also,
yeah.
I'll say the first time, outside of mentioning this for a topic, the first time I heard of this was I was sitting in the airport earlier this week, and I was watching Conan O'Brien, and he was discussing the
Well, he
year of the
did go to-
return.
he went to Ghana,
yeah,
yeah.
and he filmed his his trip, and that was something that he mentioned. And I feel like he's kind of trying to help them out with the tourism, and
Yes.
also I heard about him talking about it with his interview with Michelle Obama because they both went over there.
So you have
So
what you
Nigeria
have
has an
no, so
opportunity
what- no,
here.
here's what. But,
Yeah, well, I was.
so go on, actually, Danny.
Well, no, I was just commenting just outside of celebrities because I want to see just regular people
Exactly.
going.
Exactly.
And so I did find a video that was online
Is
with
it
just
this-
regular people going.
I saw these two women who were, black women. They were like, they're going. They recorded their trip to Ghana, and it's a bold move. Because to go to a country that's not really set up for tourism, it's bold. I did tell you going to Nigeria. Lagos is set up for tourism now.
It is.
Outside of Lagos, maybe Abuja. In Nigeria, I'm not really sure there are too many places.
Wait, how
I'm excited
is
about
Lagos
it.
set up for tourism?
So Lagos is, when I mean set up, I mean they're used to having tourists. It's not a foreign thing anymore.
Yes,
So
but what what kind of excursions can I book?
Well,
when I go to
tourism is not always about sightseeing and
Sometimes it's
sometimes
about
it's just about
experiences.
But it's a major
experiences.
part of it.
Sometimes experience the food, the restaurants, there's experiences. It's part of
Fela
the
Shrine.
clubs, the shrine. Sometimes
Yeah.
experience, but the problem is that are you now catered where you go out and you're out in Lagos to 2 a.m.? Do you feel safe on the island? Most likely you will feel safe, but outside of that, are you there? Are hotels ready to hold foreigners in and not see them as
Are there
targets?
concierges at hotels in Lagos?
I didn't need any, but I tell you that
No,
the
are
hotel.
there?
I don't know if they
don't
were,
think so.
but I tell you that the hotels are more prepared for foreigners now than they used to be years ago. You're not. Yes, you still got to be careful,
Being
but years
used
ago
to seeing
you're.
foreigners isn't the same as
But years ago,
prepared
you
for.
come as a foreigner, you're
Well, they're
almost
not
a
gonna be foreigners
target.
anymore though, because now they're gonna be your neighbors.
But years
Still?
ago,
I mean,
you come as a you're a target basically if you're from part of outside the country. Now it's a little more. Yes, you might still be a little. People might want to take advantage of you, but it's. I still feel like being used to it is a step in the right direction. It's because then you're able to say, okay, fine, this is not somebody I should be targeting. This is somebody that I'm prepared to help, enjoy the experience here. Yes, you might want to buck from them or whatever because of poverty and everything. But anyways, Nigeria does see money coming in every Christmas, especially Lagos. And it's wise for them to try and have something. But problem is the people in charge, are they ready to put in the funds and the time, and do they see it as a viable option for the country? Right now, I don't think they do, but I think social media helped Cardi B going to Nigeria and every snap shouting. The way I was in Marrakesh, now shouting niggas in Marrakesh, she was shouting fucking Nigeria everywhere she went to, and things like that.
Even Lil Wayne
Lil
too.
Wayne saying, "Hey, I would like to go to Nigeria. I've never been." And it's funny because when the clip of Lil Wayne came out, when they asked him, "Where would you like to go in the world?" he said Nigeria and Egypt. I don't think 10 years ago Lil Wayne would ever say it anywhere in Africa. He would have said some island somewhere. But he says Nigeria and Egypt, and he goes, "I heard this lit out there in Nigeria." And the presenter says, "I heard so too."
I feel like
So
yeah.
Lil Wayne wants to go there and turn up. Cardi B went there for a show, but she made sure she turned the fuck up, and she loved it. She's been joking about being Nigerian with this whole World War III thing. So that's her vibe. But they see these things and they love it. And like I said, the clubs Lagos has the strip clubs now. They have, these things are like becoming the norm in their life.
Well, here's how I see it. If I can go online and book a vacation somewhere on my own,
Yeah.
without knowing someone that is native to that place that I'm going to, then it's not a country that's set up for tourists. If I can go and book it myself, if I want to go anywhere, even, let's say Mexico, that might not be so safe, right? I can go online. I can book a stay at a resort. I can book all my activities. I know where I'm going to eat. I know everything that I'm going to do. I have transportation set up, everything. But I can't book a trip to Nigeria as a stranger or an American and say, okay, I just booked my driver for the entire stay. Yes, I can book a hotel.
You could
online.
Uber now.
Expedia.
You
You can
Taxify,
Uber,
you
but
can
let's say
Uber.
Uber is not the safest option for you,
But
right?
it is.
I can't go online and book and be comfortable booking excursions. I don't even know if there's excursions online in Nigeria.
But that's the activities you
But
want to do,
I
though. So you
wouldn't
can't knock that down to say Nigeria doesn't have. Okay,
No,
Ghana.
But I'm saying,
Let's talk about year of
I
return
don't-
to Ghana.
I wouldn't know
Is
if they
Ghana a
have
tourist?
them or
Would
not,
you
but
say Ghana is a tourist? Was a tourist location?
I
now?
think it's way more.
I think
so
because-
Because
Ghana
why?
is more
Because
advanced.
Ghana is a slave coast, so that's the only activity they have that which Nigeria does have in Badagry.
We have
but
two,
tell
yeah,
exactly.
but
So that's what I'm
more
saying.
than
So no, what
But
else?
is this
What else
information
in
readily
Ghana?
available?
My thing
I'm
is that
saying,
I
if
wouldn't
can't
even-
easily find the
What else
information,
does
then
Ghana
that
have
means
that
they're not
Nigeria doesn't
really out
have?
there.
What else does
there's
Ghana
a-
have that
but
Nigeria
there's a
doesn't have?
way.
And we talk. I talk about going to Turkey. Yes, I never been there. Yes, I booked a hotel online. I booked the flight online. The same way I did in Lagos. I booked my hotel online. I booked the flight online. I got to the airport. Yes, granted, I used.
But you know people in Lagos, you're more familiar. So
But I knew nobody
Yeah,
in
I'm
Turkey.
talking
But I
about
did the
you
same
don't need
thing.
that.
I did the same thing. I landed in there. Yes, the hotel. I booked. I was going to get an Uber, but the hotel told me, hey, they have a shuttle service. No all hotels have it, but they were like, they have a shuttle service if I wanted to for an extra cost. And I said, all right, you know what? It saves me having to find Uber. But even every time I was leaving, I was taking a taxi to wherever I was going. And the taxi was booked through Uber. And Uber would tell you in there, make sure you look at the plate number, make sure, because they don't have Uber. So
Yeah.
Uber links to their taxis.
Yeah.
And Uber would tell you, get in here, do this, do that, do that. Even then, they would tell you don't go to some places. This is like me reading online on my own
Yeah.
because I went online to find the same way in Nigeria.
Yeah, but
you
just
get in
in-
Nigeria,
just
you can
in-
get an Uber.
I would be
Just
curious
in
to
general.
hear Danny give Danny an experiment to try to book 2 vacations, one to Ghana and one to Nigeria, and give us your feedback.
Yeah, but
Yeah, it would be
I
interesting
also,
to see that.
when I travel most of the time, I don't always know everywhere that I'm going anyways. You have to talk
Yeah.
to the locals and get that, and those are the type of places that I think that you would need to do that. But it would, because it's not there yet. It's not progressive enough there yet. But you need to start having the tourists come so that they can start building those type of foundations for people to do that, if that's what you're into. Because a lot of people, they just go off on these excursions.
You're right.
And that's how they have fun, and that's how they learn about the country that you're in. But ultimately, I do want to say, just overall for this this project, I think it's just good that it kind of excites Black Americans
Yeah.
into putting Africa back as a place that you can actually go visit anywhere. It doesn't have to necessarily be Ghana, but just put it on your list of travel spots.
Yeah.
Because I don't think that it's completely there yet.
But
For some.
I'll be curious
For
to see
some.
that, though. I'll be curious to see
curious to see,
how
yeah.
easy it is for a non-Nigerian that has no ties to Nigeria to go and book a vacation in Nigeria.
I think it'd be as easy as doing it to Ghana. I think the only
think so?
difference in Ghana is that Ghana, the year of the return focused on everybody who's gone to Ghana in the last 2 years has done one common activity: go to the slave coast.
Yes.
To see where slaves were shipped out. So they and I don't know where in Ghana that is, but they understood that is a good
I've had
tourist attraction, and they've focused on that.
Yeah.
If you want to go see that, you can go see that. We have
'cause you
waterfalls.
know that's the main
yeah,
thing. I
we
mean,
have
you
the
know,
problem
that
in
was the
Nigeria
first
is they
country
haven't
to-
identified something like that, and then you look at something like waterfalls, like the Ikogosi waterfalls that they have, where
It's
the
Accra
water.
is looking
There's a place in
beautiful.
Nigeria where the water is one side of the water is hot, the other side is cold, and stuff
Yeah.
like that. But you go to those kind of places, even as a Nigerian self, sometimes when they see you dressed like this, you're standing out. They're not used to seeing even us going there, so it's hard for her to then go to places like that.
Yeah, which
That's
is
what
what
I'm-
which is what Onyede is
that's what
saying,
I'm
that
saying.
we're
Yeah.
not there yet.
So, but I say Lagos because Lagos is the only place that is there for. But unfortunately, Lagos doesn't have natural tourist attraction-y places like that.
But
Lagos
I don't think you
It
need
can be
that
different. You
because
don't
that's not
need-
people. I'm sorry, that's not what people are looking for necessarily. You don't know what people are looking for their excursion, for their
Yeah,
trip,
you don't
for their
know exactly.
experiment.
So
Any
if you
type
want
of
to,
exploration, and it's not just the slave dungeons. Like I've had friends visit, and they did a ton of different activities.
if you want
like there
to,
was even a place where they went to go see how shea butter is made.
if you want
Shea butter
to,
isn't only
but
made
shea butter
in-
is not made in Nigeria.
Yeah,
now.
and when you get on
this
Airbnb,
So they don't make any type of like.
Nigeria is a consuming
So
nation.
there's nothing in Nigeria that would
That's,
make.
that's why I'm saying that they want to start
No.
working on this thing. Ghana was able to get early on this thing, and that's why they want to start working on it. And I believe Nigeria wants to work on it just because of money. They've seen a lot of money come in, and like I said, Lagos sees a lot of money, a whole lot of money. But I'm from Ibadan. I was in Ibadan too, but I felt safer in Lagos at night. I felt because they had a nightlife. I like that. So I was cool going out to the club. I was cool taking an Uber. I was cool doing everything. As long as I was on the island, I was cool doing all that because
Yeah, but you're a guy too. I don't think
Yes,
a
I'm a
girl
guy
can-
too, yes.
Can confidently
But-
I'm
say
hearing
but-
that
but-
Uber is not so safe anymore.
I'm
Even
a
in
guy
Lagos.
too. So
yeah, not
there's
safe anyway.
there's yes, you're right. I'm a
it's not
guy.
safe.
So
Because now
there's-
I'm looking at Airbnb because I love Airbnb. So
There's a
I'm
lot of
looking at
Airbnbs
for
in
Ghana,
Lagos.
and there's a ton. And you know they don't have a lot of activities here, but you'll find something. You'll find something to do. But it would be very simple. It looks like to book a vacation.
I think booking is not the problem. I think just the outside of the regular
Having things to do.
having things to do.
You'll
Like
find something to.
we
I don't
went
know.
on
I'm
excursion.
I'm just different.
There's this
So
place. Sorry to cut you off.
No.
There's this place in Lagos. It's like the Lagos.
Lekki Conventional
Yes,
Center.
that-
Yes,
that-
they built that. That's
yeah.
man-made, but they
Okay.
built that for people to, and people go there a lot now. It's this
Yeah.
Lekki Conservative Center, whatever. They built that now. The one thing they've always had is nightlife. Now it's time to get activities outside of nightlife.
Yeah, we need to
Okay.
expand.
That's where we need to
we
expand
need
in
to
tourism.
expand.
Is the nightlife in Lagos? It's amazing.
But you can still do the traditional things. It looks like, which is go to the beach.
Yes,
You can
there's
still
a lot
go
of the
hiking.
beaches. Yeah,
You
go
can still
to yes.
explore.
If you want to
they may
really
not have zip
experience-
lining. Okay, it may not be as fancy as that yet, but they have
Yeah.
a shopping district. I see.
Yeah,
There's
they got
it
stuff.
looks a
And
lot.
this is
Going
all
to
in
the
Nigeria?
market.
I think
This
she's
is
looking at
Ghana. I'm
Oh,
looking at
Ghana,
Ghana.
Ghana.
one, yeah.
And these are things that I know about Ghana, so
Yeah.
I know that there's a ton to do.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're due for a break now. Wale, can you introduce this next song for us?
This is off.
Oh, by the way, this is our official Smiling Sufferer backtrack, specially made for us. Just wanted to throw that out there, but yeah, go
I
on.
didn't approve this, but I haven't heard the anyways, the middle song is for by one of my favorite rap groups in Nigeria, actually. They're called SDC, Show Them Camp. And they dropped their album Palm Wine Express late last year, which is actually a pretty dope album. But this song is called True Story featuring Burna Boy.
All right.
It wasn't overnight.
Yeah, we're still going on about this Naija industry.
Why are you playing this kid for me?
Sorry, Naija.
That's like the best song anyway.
This is for those.
So, Angela, we heard about the K1, which he was denied.
Michael got denied in 20 minutes.
For those, just giving you an
cannot make a
update.
decision
This is
in
Angela
20 minutes of our relationship.
and Michael.
There's something going on. I
watch
don't know,
90
and I'm
Day
trying to
Fiancé?
get to the bottom of it.
I have not seen
I
them.
don't even know why Steve.
Okay, what is your plan, Angela, now?
We trying to appeal for the K1.
Yo, they denied
But
my boy,
I
yo.
think that
They denied
the
my
best
boy.
option for us is
What's
to get
Michael's
married here
angle?
in Nigeria.
What do you mean?
And cool.
He just wants to come to United States.
Still
Support
waiting for the
Twomp.
K1 letter.
Twomp. That's why it says it's Twomp. Yeah. Well,
My K1
I don't know why.
is my only
I don't know why
opportunity
90
for
Day.
my family to see the wedding because I can't afford to fly them all over here. You see?
This is
What a unique
Well,
looking
it's
couple.
understandable. At the
Yeah,
same
she
time,
looks like
my
Trump.
wife
She looks
is
like
the
Trump.
word. As soon as
She looks like Trump.
and by the way, this is
Interesting.
Angela
Like,
having
Trump was
dinner with Michael's family.
Somebody that I've been waiting for the past 2 years now.
So okay, so this is the good part.
And
This is
we
the
are
good
not
part.
getting younger.
I'm not getting it.
And we want him
To start
to
his own
start his
family.
own family.
So
I want to plead on the behalf of the family. Maybe you can think about it and then consider him and have the wedding, the marriage here in Nigeria.
Oh, she was pissed.
Don't it ever stop, Michael. Now you got your family talking about the spousal visa. This is really Michael and I's business and not theirs.
Girl, welcome to a Nigerian
Somebody
family.
get me the hell out of here now.
She is pissed.
She's in for a rude awakening.
With what you said now, you said you still want to try the K1 visa again.
Yeah,
But if it's been denied, Michael should possible. Somebody that have been
Yeah,
waiting for the past.
that's basically just an update on the
be
Michael
honest-
Angela situation. Michael got denied his U.S. visa. For Danny, you probably don't know, but Michael and Angela, they're on this show, 90 Day Fiancé. Are you familiar with the show?
I know the
You're
show.
familiar with the format of the show?
Yes.
So is this Nigerian guy, younger guy? Angela is obviously much older, Trump supporter. They've been going back and forth. They've been dating.
Is
Michael-
that proof? Has that been proven on the show to the Trump
right.
supporter?
yeah, Michael is a
Michael
Trump
had- Oh, did
supporter
she?
too. Yeah.
Paraphernalia
She bought
when she came to
him
visit.
Trump.
That's
Trump.
kind
He
of
says Trump.
unique.
Yeah.
Trump boxers.
Marrying
Yeah.
a man from Africa, but
He was
okay.
very excited.
You know, a lot
to
of
receive.
Africans like Trump.
Yeah,
A lot of Africans like Trump
They do.
because
Did
they
she know
feel-
where she was going with this?
She did. She did.
Yes.
But to be honest, with this interview thing that happened, I was just laughing because his parents basically are like, "All right, man, it's time to cut the charade. Like,
Yeah.
if they're not giving him the visa, yo, get out of here." That's basically what they're saying because he's not benefiting from. But you know, the funniest thing about this is the fact that I think Michael believes if he gets that visa, his life is gonna change, and you know,
Probably would though.
I don't know how it would change
The
because
struggle would just continue.
Angela
in
is
America.
poor. Angela is
Yeah.
Angela is
Does she
poor.
see how
He
that
got the
goes?
wrong one.
Yeah, and that's the
maybe-
thing. She's,
maybe he'll get a
she's
fresh
poor.
start.
She's poor.
She's not rich.
She's
poor?
not rich. She's not rich.
you sure?
She can take care of herself.
But she has to do a lot.
independent,
Like
that's good.
to come to Nigeria, I'm sure she had to do a lot. Like I was watching the show. She doesn't live in a trailer park, but she's like, she doesn't have a lot of money. And
Yeah.
even her daughter was saying like, look, you spend a lot of money on this trip. Like to get the ticket money was not as easy as, oh, I just got a paycheck, let me get the ticket. And that you understand. So he's coming back here. This is someone whose communication skills are probably not the best. Probably doesn't have a very decent formal education. I don't know his background. I don't know what he does in Nigeria. But if that's his case, he's just going to swap one struggle
here,
with another
come
struggle.
here to struggle.
And to be honest, people tell me that if you're abroad, don't ever tell nobody to move. And I'll never tell anyone not to move. But I tell you that the struggle here is different from the struggle in Nigeria. In Nigeria, you have family, you have friends, you have a support system. Here, nobody gives a fuck about you.
Yeah.
Unless,
That's
like,
true.
for the most part, nobody cares about you here. Your
That's
struggle
true.
here is you're struggling by yourself.
Yeah,
You know.
but you also have to put in perspective. For him, the kind of struggle that he'll have here will
It
be
will be
nothing
nothing
compared to
compared
the
to,
struggle
yes.
he has already had.
The downside is if he does come here and get a job that pays him minimum wage, his family is going to be converting that to naira and
Yeah.
it will look like a whole bunch of money, and they're going to be asking him to send them money back, and that's another part of people struggle here. Because you're already making minimum, but they're looking at it in terms of their bills down there.
Yep.
What you're making compared to their bills is a whole lot more, but compared to your bills, it's not enough.
I mean, since we're on the topic of visas, what do you guys think about the recent
travel ban?
Trump travel ban? I think Nigeria was affected, right?
It's not final, is it?
I don't think
They
it's
said they're trying to
finalized.
finalize it.
But I think one of the main things is, one of the first things that they're cutting off is people that are coming
to give birth,
that are pregnant.
Yes.
What do you guys think about that? Do you think that that's justified? Like the idea of people just coming here to give birth just for the sake of their kids having a U.S. citizenship,
I think
which could potentially turn into a chain migration situation. Potentially.
I'm biased.
You're biased? How so?
That's how my parents did it.
That's
Come here, pop one out, go back home,
I
come
don't
back.
know. To be honest,
Go back and forth. Until
I'm
they
not really
stay.
sure. I understand a lot of people come here to pop kids and going back now, and how does it really affect the states? Those kids, well, are they scared like they will send those kids back radicalized, or are they scared that those kids will come back and take what is meant for kids that were
No. I think one of the fears is that all they'll be doing is the kids will come back and start taking advantage of the benefits of being an American citizen. So like benefits like, I mean, it could be Social Security, everything. All the benefits of being an American citizen, they're gonna come and they're gonna take it.
But that kid
But
first
I'm a child.
No, so when
that child becomes of age,
So-
and then that child can come here and then can file immigration papers for his family or her family, and have even more people come here. I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with that. It's just that people have abused the system over the years.
But people abuse their system here in general anyways.
Yeah, well,
so,
true.
I mean, they're just trying to cut back on the loopholes as a whole.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily have a problem with it. I do see
What?
it happen quite often. I mean, coming over
You're
here,
in
have a
favor
baby,
of
and then
Trump?
going back.
You're in favor of a Trump policy?
I mean, I'm on
that's
the
very
fence.
surprising.
Like, I don't know. I'm 50-50 with it. It doesn't really bother me
Doesn't
that much.
bother you.
To be honest, if the government feels, I don't know if they have the statistics, but if they feel there is a high rate of people born here that left and came back and they're using public funds and they're not contributing to society, then I can understand why they don't.
And it's not just Nigeria; it's
Yeah, I can
Russia
understand
too,
why.
And I think
It's-
that's
it's-
China
at the,
too.
and I think that's at the least.
They're big violators of it.
It's
China.
I think it's just at the worst end of it.
I think so,
that's
too.
what they're thinking. Like, oh, you're gonna come over here and take all the
Because-
benefits. But I think it's also easier for the parents to come over here and transition and to find work.
Yes, and
Yeah.
I believe most of the immigrants coming here, first of all, you spend thousands of dollars to come back, and then, most of them don't come back to be bums here.
Yeah.
They come back to be very good contributing members of society. And I don't
Yeah, a
always
lot of
understand
immigrants, yes.
that whole you're taking our jobs situation, because it's always funny to me from both spectrums. If I'm making 100K, a year, and there's no way I could have taken a 100K job from you because you weren't just qualified for it. So that's one thing. And then on the other spectrum, if I'm making minimum wage, which is 8 something, whatever, I have that job because guess what? You didn't want that job.
Well, yeah. So that's
So
always been
what
the
job did I
argument.
take
I
from
mean,
you?
it
They
could just
get upset
increase
about it.
Competition. in
Yeah,
general.
I took a job you're
I
not
don't even think
qualified
it does
for,
that.
and I took a job you didn't want. So how? Does that affect you?
Because my example I like
You
to
know.
use is like during the recession, people couldn't find jobs.
Yeah.
And then they were trying to go take a job as a janitor or picking
But those jobs
tomatoes
were
or
already
whatever.
done.
Well, yeah, but they wanted those jobs and they said, "Oh, well, these immigrants will come over here and just taking these jobs, so we don't have anything." And so that's in my opinion,
So that's
that's
where
really
that-
where it started.
where it
It really
started
started to
from,
blow
yeah.
up. as an issue. But ultimately, I don't know. I always find it that people who come from different countries, they typically own their own businesses or they're doing their own thing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And they're building
More successful
within their own communities and everything. And that's where I think the success comes from, because in America, we have a tendency to we do the crab in a barrel type thing.
Yeah.
We don't, especially in Black America, in my opinion, we don't help each other. So I don't see the issue.
Yeah, I don't really
they go
see.
and make their
I think
communities
it's just,
and economy stronger.
That's why I said if they have like proper statistics that can prove that people come give birth and then these kids come back and take benefits. I don't know my personal experience. I don't know any, but you might not know, but I don't really know anyone who's in that situation who was born here, left, and then came back, and then they're using food stamps and social security, government assistance. Most of them are coming back. They're getting into good colleges. Sure, they might be paying in-state at this point, but they leave college and they're going to be very successful members of society. Which at that point, it's like, why are you worried about that? You know,
I just don't think that the child themselves should be punished for whatever decisions or that their parents have made. So if I'm coming into this world, why does it matter where I was born? You know what I mean? If my parents are here on vacation, or if they have the money to come here and decide to have me in America, then how is that my fault?
No, but he's stopping it. He's stopping it.
But this is going to prevent that person from traveling here in the first place.
What you're doing is harming the child that's innocent.
And honestly, I don't think they have parameters on really how they're really monitoring this. Because if I'm coming here and I'm saying I'm coming on vacation, you don't really know what I'm doing. Just because I'm pregnant.
Well, what they're going to do is they're going to stop you
for a visa. If you go for a visa,
so right now, if I'm coming here to visit my aunt, and I just happen to be whatever months pregnant, you don't know what I'm doing.
So right now, airlines actually have they've always had a thing where if you're a certain months pregnant, they can't transport you.
What if I had
But they're not supposed to. So what happens is most of these people.
I haven't heard that one.
No, I saw it on.
I'm just saying I haven't heard it.
So when you go for visas, they ask you.
They ask you, yes, if you're pregnant.
And then I can lie and
but
say
I wouldn't
so that's
go
what
for
people
my
do.
visa till after I have my child. I would come here on vacation, right?
No,
Are you talking about your visa to travel?
To travel, yes.
So, yeah.
Which will be 9+ months.
Okay,
I'll
so
get my visa before.
So this is what they do.
But even if you get your visa,
you gotta plan.
I know. If you get your visa and you go to the airport and they see you're pregnant, they won't let you.
If you're a certain week pregnant,
they've
they
actually
don't let you travel.
rejected certain people in Nigeria.
So what happens?
I actually know of people
when
that
you're a
they've done
certain.
this to.
I would say I would come here on a school visa or
So
something.
that's what they do. But here's the problem. But here's the problem
stay.
is when you do that, the guy who's actually coming here to legitimately study, when this trend continues to happen, they would believe the next girl who's trying to come here and get a student visa, she's trying to do that. And then it has a knockdown effect. So it's student visas for Nigerians is hard because people came here with student visas back in the days only to migrate because they realized that, okay, you know what, if I got admission into a college, it's easier for you to give me a student visa, but they only come here with the mindset of migrating. So they started to abuse that. So then it became harder. They started adding stricter rules to Nigerians. Started giving them 2 years visas. You have to go back every 2 years and renew it. They started giving, when you go back, you have to prove that you've been going to school and all sort of stuff. And you can still find a way, but it became harder. So when you start doing, now people come here pregnant to give birth. Look, if you can afford to do so, go for it. It doesn't affect me. And I believe most of the people who can afford to do so, when their kids come back years later, they're not coming back to be bums.
There are a lot of people
That's
that.
exactly
There are a lot of
what I'm
people
saying.
that.
I don't think that
but there are a lot of people that come here to have babies, and they can't really afford it,
Yes.
and they end up bailing without paying their bills.
Yes.
That happens
That
a lot
happens
too.
a lot, yes.
And that's not just. And it's not just Nigeria too.
Yes, that happens a lot.
China too. Chinese people do it. Some Russians do it. So I think these are some of the things that they've seen, some patterns that they've seen, and that's why they might be trying to clamp down on it.
think
Whether
I
it's
just
right is debatable.
Yeah, and I need to know this. Yeah, that's
The number
what
of
I say.
people
I need to
that have
know how it
absconded
affects
without
the
paying
economy.
their.
No, I need to see the numbers statistically.
That's a whole that. I feel like that's a totally different argument because I just listened to something about how they're starting to charge Americans for not paying their bills, like the healthcare system.
Yeah.
For if you can't afford it, they're suing you, going to jail for it. So
Really?
that's a
You know what they
different
do?
debate.
You know what they do in England, and that's why they stopped going there to do that. Is you're fine, you can come and give birth, but the child has to live there for
Like 10 years or
10
something like
years,
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got rid of birthright citizenship in like
yeah.
the 70s or 80s or
So
something.
they're like,
that.
you know what? It's fine. You can
Under
come
Margaret
in,
Thatcher, I
I
but
prefer that actually. I don't
then
mind.
some countries. Then another one they have is one of the parents has to be a citizen.
So what's
So
the
if they
issue?
have that, another country, because there are three types of this. There are the countries like US that allow you to just come in, give birth. Then there's like UK that say you can come and give birth, but then the child has to stay a certain number of years. And then there's some countries that are like, well, one of the parents has to be a citizen or resident of the, and that's the one US is actually trying to play with, where it's like, okay, if one of the parents is a resident, legal resident or a citizen, then granted, because if you're a resident here, this is where you live. And if you're a citizen, this is your country. So if one of them is, then they can't take that. You get it straight away. But not where both of you guys are.
That'll be interesting.
None from here, and you come. That's the one they were offering to Trump at the time.
Okay.
I don't know if he's going to take that.
Yeah.
But that was one of the alternatives they gave to him. Yeah, so.
Oh well,
Yeah, maybe America probably should absorb that if that's the issue that they feel like they're having. The birthright, get rid of the birthright citizenship.
Yeah, but you know.
So you were a benefit of birthright citizenship, right? How about you? Were your parents also originally from another country, or they were originally from here?
No, my mom isn't.
Oh, your mom isn't.
Yeah, my mom isn't.
But your mom became a citizen here.
Yeah, she's a citizen.
Oh, okay.
Before she had you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, okay. But while we're on the topic of Trump policies, are anyone following this 2020 election so far? Anyone paying attention?
It's exhausting.
I know.
It's a lot of people.
You tune out politics.
I do.
Yeah.
I think Trump's going to win
it's
again.
toxic.
Yeah, I definitely think that. I said that
Democrats are stupid.
Before he was elected, I was like, he's going to win. He's going to be a two-term
But
president.
but out of the
Impeachment is not gonna
candidates,
happen.
but out of the candidates that are currently running against in the Democratic primaries, who would you say?
Nobody.
Who would you vote for?
Bernie.
Bernie? You
It's
vote for
supposed to
Bernie?
be Bernie, but you see,
But you know he's rising in the polls.
Is he?
Yeah, and there's actually a good chance he might win the next primary in Iowa and then the other one in New Hampshire.
Bernie is old.
So he's rising
He
in the
just
polls.
had a heart attack.
So
Like,
that's my only
old,
concern. He just had a heart attack.
Yeah.
I feel like if he can pair up with someone young like my candidate Tulsi Gabbard,
Okay.
he would have my vote 100%.
In case he croaks.
Yeah, because he literally just had a heart attack a few months ago.
Yeah.
But he seems to
tried
have
to
bounced
hide
back. But he seems to have bounced back. He
just looks like the guy from what is
Just
that
because
movie?
you have.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was trying to think of what it was. Back to the Future. That's all it was. I like him, and he has that much energy, and he just looks wild.
Yeah.
But honestly, him representing you or going overseas, I don't know how that works.
You wouldn't really have much confidence in him?
I just like him. I just think he's a loose cannon. I think he's interesting.
Here's the thing. Here is the thing. We want Medicare for all.
What do you guys think about the whole student debt?
Oh,
You
yes.
can wipe mine out.
Because
Yes.
somebody
Get
came
rid
out.
of it.
I saw an article where the person was like, so are you going to refund those of us that didn't have debts also? Because
So I'm going to play it. I actually have it queued
you're
up.
only rewarding.
No, people should go.
We're already bankrupt, right? We'll definitely go bankrupt doing that.
You're gonna, that's what I'm
But
saying.
you can
is,
forgive
are you
mine
gonna-
because mine is like a car note,
Yeah,
so
but-
a mortgage.
If I went through college without debt, do I get money back? You know, because some people saved up to not.
So I
sure did.
actually
Had
have
to
it
work
queued
for
up.
a job.
Wait, so let me explain what happened. So something recently came up on the campaign trail, right? And it was Elizabeth Warren is offering she has a plan.
Yeah.
She said the minute she gets in office,
You know, wipe it.
she's going to use executive action, meaning this is not even going to go through Congress. She's going to use executive action, right, to wipe out about 75% of student debt in America.
She's also gonna wipe out jobs doing
Which
it
is
too,
which
but-
is unprecedented, right? 75% of college debt, and I've had college debt. I know what it's like. It's music to my ears, but the question is who pays for it. And so there was this guy that approached on the campaign trail about it, and that's what I'm about to play. And it's this. Let me make it big here. So there it is.
My daughter's getting out of school, like single, my money, she doesn't have any school. Am I going to get my money back?
course not. So you're going to pay for people who didn't save any money, and those of us who did the right thing get screwed.
How did you do the right thing?
Of course we did. My buddy had fun, bought a car, went on vacations. I saved my money. He made more than I did. But I worked a double shift, worked extra. My daughter's working is 10. So you're laughing. Yeah, that's exactly what you're doing. We did the right thing, and we get screwed. I appreciate it.
So I understand that argument, though.
I understand it, but what is right and wrong?
Okay, so
Well, it's not wrong.
so you guys heard the argument, right?
thing.
Wait, so just in case the audience couldn't hear it, what the guy did was he approached Warren and said, "Look, when my daughter was growing up, I saved for her college. Like I actually had to take double shifts, this and that. That my neighbor was busy buying Ferraris, and that one had to take college. Had to take out debt to go to college, and he's like, so if you come out and then wipe out everyone's, hello, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
He said, if you come out and then wipe out everyone's debt, then what happens to someone like me that actually did the right thing and saved up to actually pay for this college as opposed to taking out a loan? And you're saying, now, Oyade, you're saying,
thank you for your service.
How did he do the right thing?
Yeah, so I wouldn't characterize it as right or wrong. That is how you maybe did something that was more responsible than your neighbor.
Yeah.
But what if your neighbor didn't have the money to save and pay for his child's college tuition and had to take out loans? Are you still doing the right thing? No, it's not right or wrong.
Okay. And I
you
also
did
think
something that was responsible.
And also what he might be saying too is that, well, I agree with you in your comment about being responsible, but I also think he's saying that, I was also trying to keep my child out of debt.
Yes.
So there's this trickle down effect, and he's like, so I had to struggle in order to get to this
What
point
if
to
I
make
knew
sure
it was
that
gonna get
I don't
wiped
owe you
away?
anything and my
Yeah.
kids don't owe you anything. And ultimately, you just set your kid up to have a clean slate. So you're not like the rest of us out here dying off your student loan bills.
To be honest, it's there's going to be loopholes in here.
Yeah.
You're going to have both sides.
You're going to have extremes on both sides.
That argument he gave is funny because I had this conversation with my dad years ago. And, he would talk about one of his friends who would take lavish vacations and ask him, tell him like he would want to buy a piece of equipment for like $20,000. And the guy would probably tell him like, why are you spending that money on equipment? Go get a new car. And he's like, man, I got to pay for my kids' tuition. And this equipment is what is going to get my company more money, and it's weird because he has to think in that manner of, look, I would like to buy the nicest things. I can get them when I can, but at this point, I'd like to rather take this fund to use it to bring more money so that I can, because I'm paying all their money.
Yeah.
And it's true, he did it that way. But this other guy was like, look, when my kids get to college, they do their own thing, they'll be fine, they get in debt. Now, there's no, how do the kids turn out? It's really up to the kids themselves. The one with the debt of her life can get a very good job paid off quick and be more successful than I am. I can come out with no debt and be the most useless person on earth. There's really no gain to it. But my problem with wiping debt is, where do you stop? Do you also wipe, what of medical bills? What of,
That's a good
Well,
question.
they gave you a break on your medical bills, at least for those people who weren't able to pay for it. At least they don't put on your credit report and things like that.
Yeah, but what of
They
there
give
are
you
other
breaks.
things that,
You can claim
high
it.
interest rates and credit cards and cars and
That's
other
a personal.
stuff. College is personal too.
But
College debt is also personal.
It is personal, but they tell you that this is what they claim, that you need an education in order to grow in the world.
But
These people are not going to give you a job.
You also need a car
without
to
your
go to your
bachelor's,
job.
a good job.
You need a car to go to your job. I think the only thing they can do that makes more sense is just make college not so damn expensive.
I was going to say that.
Moving forward,
we need to.
That's where they need to move forward.
I
from.
disagree on that.
You want to get your
I
debt
disagree.
wiped out. I understand.
No. It's not even that. I disagree on that because we had to pay teachers.
You
too.
do exactly. So
as somebody
why don't
who's
we
worked
take
in education,
so that money?
they don't even
how
make
much?
that
How
much
much do
money.
we have in college debt? Does the 75% of it? Is there a figure?
She said 75% of all college debt.
So is there a figure behind it, like an actual monetary figure?
It's in the billions.
Let's say it's $1 trillion. What if the government subsidized that $1 trillion into education moving forward? Where, yes, we still pay teachers, but your college tuition moving forward.
I don't even think that's how that will work, though.
It's not more expensive.
I don't think it
it's
will
not that
work.
expensive.
I think they would need to come up with a plan where they can increase the pay of teachers. Because that's how you're able to get the job
So-
that you have now is because someone taught you
Yes,
how to do
so-
what you're doing, and they don't
yes,
pay
yes,
them enough.
yes.
Even postgraduate, undergraduate, whatever, they
So
don't
she
50,
signs-
60,000.
She signs an executive order for $1 trillion. And hold on, and I'm just using $1 trillion, and they clear everyone's debt. Next year, they're gonna clear the ones coming in for next year, the ones after that. Are
next
they
year
gonna keep clearing it moving forward, or it's just a one time? Hey, I just got elected. Maybe 4 years from now, when I get elected, re-elected, I'll do it again. What is it? When does it stop?
First of all, these days you can't get a good job that can actually pay back student loans without going to higher education.
Yeah.
And I mean
I agree.
post-bachelor's degree,
I agree.
okay?
So more debt.
So you can't, there's more debt. And then once you get to grad school, you're talking about double, triple the amount of tuition
Yeah,
for your
so more debt.
in-state
Hello,
college school. So, I mean, and then when you get to that level, your professors actually do make a decent salary,
Yeah.
especially
Yes,
depending
yes.
on what profession that
Especially
you're in.
the tenured ones.
Exactly. So
That's debatable.
Let's talk about how we can distribute those funds and maybe getting K through 12, getting those teachers to get some of that. But then again, maybe it takes more schooling for you to be a law professor versus a biology professor in undergrad, right? So it's just about balancing. It's hard to, there's no one solution that's going to fix it because it's a system
There's
that's
not.
broken.
Yeah.
It's going to take time. Some people are going to be uncomfortable while they're fixing it. And the people that have already done their due diligence, you did it for your child. Don't worry about getting your money back now. That's said and done. So if somebody wants to come today and wipe out,
but that's easy.
out,
But that's easy to say.
listen, if someone wants to come today and wipe out the debt, right? It doesn't change all the
It does.
years you spent.
You're using everyone's tax money.
No, I'm saying it doesn't change the years you spent, quote unquote, struggling to pay for your child's tuition. Because here's the way I see it, right? If it's going to cost $50,000 for my child just to get an undergrad degree,
Yeah.
and I have $50,000 in cash,
What school is this?
I am not going to put $50,000 in cash if I'm struggling for that money to pay for tuition. I'd rather invest it, knowing that I can not only pay for my child, but setting them up for a future, being able to multiply that $50,000 versus just throwing it away. When I know my child is still going to go to grad school, has to go to grad school anyway, and maybe I can't afford grad school tuition on top of that. So they still.
But
end
that's
up in
one
debt.
angle. What of the person who can
And
afford it but knows that, hey man, there's
It's such a
you can
wide.
get a
There's so many different angles.
you can
But
get a
it-
student loan. So hey, I'm
something
just
has
going to
to be
take my
done.
money or something.
But it's such a wider story than that, right? Because even for the person who's paying for it,
Yeah.
it's not my problem that you didn't diversify your portfolio so that you can make more money so that you could send your child to school. There's so many other
Yeah, there's
elements
so many
to it.
angles, yeah.
However,
It's
the
the
other
same, yeah.
other part of it is that, okay, yeah, so for those who already are in debt and you wipe it away, you're killing a lot of stress for some people too.
Yes, you're helping them.
You're
yes,
helping them out. And for some people who have defaulted on their loans because they can't afford to pay it, maybe they need to go to grad school. You're helping with that too. So there's so many branches to this.
So my question to you, Danny, is now she wakes up, like I said, she gets in office and she wipes it off. Did you go to grad school?
I'm in grad school. Yeah.
Okay, all right. So let's say you finish grad school, she pays that off and everything, and then you want to get a PhD. So who pays for this at this point? Are you going back to get a student loan?
No,
And
my
this
plan was
loan-
never to go back to get a
But
not
let's
for
just
not
say you
for
did.
not for my PhD.
But
No.
let's say you did get another loan. Is
Oh.
Elizabeth Warren in charge of that also, or this is you're back in the same hole you just left?
You're gonna be. I feel like if she's not
And-
in office, you're gonna go back in the same hole
and
because
how-
Republicans are not going
Exactly,
to
and then how
agree with that. They're gonna
frequently?
kill that.
Look, Elizabeth Warren is just trying to get votes.
That's it.
She's not.
That's
going
what
to
it
do
boils
this.
down to.
Because
She's
no
not
one,
going to do
no
it.
one has a real plan
She's-
for how they're actually going to break down this education.
Yeah, and then
But somebody needs to do something.
do you wipe?
Start
And then you said
somewhere.
something about people who lose
They
jobs.
give you-
people who work in that field, they will lose jobs. Some people's job is to call you and harass you for your debt.
Here's
Right, you
my
will.
take
Yeah.
on it. Yeah,
Because if
go
you're
on.
taking away 70% of their debt, that means that 75, and I'm just an arbitrary number,
Yeah.
75% of people are not going to need their job. Because
Yeah.
why? Now the debt is what, $2,000 maybe for someone?
Yeah.
Well, we can pay that.
Yeah.
I'll pay that off in a year.
I think it
Here's
should
here's
be
my thing.
individualized.
Here's my thing. Here's
Then who
by
picks?
case.
Who
here's
picks? Who
here's
picks the case?
here's why
Strict
I'm against
guidelines
it.
set
I'm
around
I'm,
not
I'm,
gonna
I'm
work.
against the government picking winners and losers. Is that really that simple? Because that's what this is. You're picking someone
yes.
someone that may not have had the privilege of saving enough money to pay for their college. You're making them a winner, and whoever busted his ass,
You're
that
saying,
person
"Hey,
is
man."
going to feel like a loser because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it's still all of our tax money, and we're then redistributing this wealth of money to this group of people that decided to pursue college education, and that's not even and
decided to as if
and
it's
the
like you have a
only-
choice.
no, yes, you do have a choice to
And
go to
the-
college.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't go to college.
You know, a choice.
Yeah, they
a
all
loose
fingers
term.
are
And
not
it's the only
equal.
touching
All fingers are not
tuition
equal.
because as I
Okay.
just finished paying a
And-
bill.
Yeah.
We can't make all fingers equal.
No,
Go
you
on,
should
yeah.
finish.
No, I'm just saying I just finished paying for my bill for the
Yeah.
semester, and the breakdown of it. I mean, 20 different things on there have nothing to do with school.
See,
So
now
are you only
things like
paying my
that,
tuition?
things like that, they
Because I
can
still owe you
fix.
$1,000 after it's done.
That's what I'm saying. So things like that, that's where the root cause of this is how much college cost, and the excuse is they take this much money to then pay the teachers.
Yeah.
I went to Towson University. I have 2 degrees from Towson University. Towson University has 3 tigers on campus, and I heard the rumor was like
Actual tigers?
No, like
about to
statues. Sorry,
say, okay,
statues.
okay.
And I heard the rumor was each one cost 150 grand.
Oh, that
This-
you pay for.
The state that I paid for every semester.
Towson's public or private?
It's public.
Public.
Oh, it's public. Okay.
The guy who was in charge of like sports or something in Maryland, he was once a Towson guy. So the rumor then was he used to send funds to Towson for sports. Towson's football team, basketball team sucks. But at the time I was there, they sucked. But they have Seco Arena, which is one of the best arenas you can have for a college in a I think they're in Division 3 or something like that. School. Why are you spending $40 million on an arena in a public school?
So what you're pointing out is there's a lot of rot in the college
Yes,
tuition
it is,
system
in the system,
already.
yeah.
There's a lot of
So
bloated.
is-
Even the cost of college in Yankee compared to other Western countries
it's a lot.
is way more.
But these
And
are
this-
different.
And there's a
different
and so
arguments, though.
so I feel like there's a bit of a but that's part of why I
There's
feel
a lot
like
of wastage
if
in the
you-
money too.
and so that's part of why I feel like the idea of paying all this college debt, we're paying for a lot of stuff that doesn't really bring value back into the economy.
If they're but that's a different argument, I think, because if they're using money from donations that people are submitting to them, they can use their money for whatever. They already have
Donations
a
is a
committee.
different thing.
Well, no, but I'm saying, but they already have a panel who goes out and decides what they're going to spend their money on. I mean, and I'll use like Florida State for example. They have millions of dollars that they bring in, and they went out and they redid Doak Campbell Stadium. They went out and built this whole city that's around the city, a college town. They call it College Town. They built around the school.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to argue with how you spend your money. That's different. That's
Yeah,
a different
yeah, that's
argument. That's
different.
not taxpayers' money going for that. Taxpayers' money is probably going for books and tuition to pay for somebody else to have a full scholarship, things like that. So that's a different argument to me.
Yeah.
But do you think that wouldn't be better if you're saying teachers are not getting paid and you take that money and
Take
put it
that
into
money
I'm
to
saying
pay
they're not
teachers.
getting paid because, I mean,
why
yes.
rather than Towson University does not need. I love the school, but they don't need that. That in fact, it was so bad that arena was forced to be used for every other event they had on campus just so they can use it.
Yeah, so they can make money off of it.
Why did they have to get that when the old one was fine?
But then if they're generating enough income from it and
you're
they're
right,
breaking
they send
even,
the
it
money.
might
But
not be
that's an
that bad.
opinion, too.
It is an opinion too,
That
but
you
I'm
think the
saying
old one was fine. They didn't.
well, they probably didn't. But I'm saying that if we're saying teachers are not getting paid enough, because every year my tuition went up, and I used to wonder where the hell is this going to? Because my professors are not getting the money, so where is this going to? And you said like in your student that thing, you say a lot of fees that have nothing to do with. These are the things I think they should fix.
Yes.
Make the tuition cheaper, so the money you have to borrow is less, and also in the interest rates and everything, make that much more affordable. So you're not spending this much money. And when they said you have to go to higher education to get the money. So here's the thing: you want to pay off a debt, but then you have to go get another loan so you can get the degree that allows you to pay off the first loan. Yep. But then you have another loan you acquired while you were getting that second degree.
Well, maybe they should restructure the loan program.
So maybe that's yes,
and restructure the play.
and wiping off everyone's debt, even if she does it every year for 8 years, it's still not going to fix the problem. It's only people who were in debt during those 8 years that will benefit from it. What happens when she's out of office?
But they also need you to have the debt so that
And
they
they
can
need it too,
continue to have continual income coming in for the government for education.
I think a fair way to go about this would be if we decided, okay, going forward, we would have some kind of program that would either subsidize people's tuition going forward. But this idea of looking back I think it's almost like there's really no fair way to really decide that we want to pay off certain people's debt, especially when there are probably some people whose parents are rich and they still took out college tuitions, and it's almost like we're paying for their debt too. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a very hard way. It's very hard to be fair when you want to implement that kind of policy. But I think if we decide going forward that okay, we will take care of or even if it's just the interest going forward, so that way everyone knows, and everyone that does want to go to college can decide, okay, yes, I'm gonna get a break if I take out this debt. But if we're looking backwards, I just don't think there's any equitable way of paying for that. But that's just my opinion. Yeah. But I also want to address one more thing that happened on the campaign trail, and this was also in regards to Elizabeth Warren. So as I said before, Bernie Sanders is like the front runner right now. He's like way ahead in the polls. And Elizabeth Warren was like right there, up there with, I think, Biden and Sanders. But then she started to kind of fall in the polls. And something happened recently where Elizabeth Warren came out with this story. And she said, look, 2 years ago, I spoke to Bernie. And Bernie told me that a woman cannot be president of the United States. Did you guys hear about the story?
Yeah,
she said it.
She came out and she divulged a private conversation that they had. And they tried to paint it as Bernie being anti-woman, being a sexist.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with him, but and I don't think it's sexist.
You don't? So you believe that?
I do. Hillary is a great example. She was up there. Yeah. And I knew that she wasn't gonna win. I could tell, for one, women weren't really even supporting her like that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. They're just not. She lost the white woman ready
vote.
For that.
White women vote with their white men, their husbands.
Yeah, she lost that
That's
vote.
How women vote.
Yeah, but so you guys really don't think a woman can be president?
I don't think America is ready for a female president.
But, I agree with you.
But then but Hillary got she got the popular vote. Yeah. She could have won.
She could have, but she didn't. So she wasn't ready.
And I don't even follow politics like that. But Hillary is full of shit. The day I heard her on some podcast talking about what is something that you cannot go without, like in your purse. And she said hot sauce. I was like, I don't know.
Maybe.
I threw her. I was like, throw the whole Hillary away.
She's trying to get your vote, man.
Yeah. So look. I don't think America's ready.
Well, she definitely panders to minorities. That's a minority comment, I think. Yeah. Oh, they like hot sauce. Chicken too.
Bernie Sanders think a woman cannot be president?
No, he came out and first of all, he denied it.
Even if he does think a woman cannot be president, what does that have to do with him being a better president for the country than Trump? And that's why I said Democrats are just clowns. This whole, you guys, is like, bro, the Avengers came together to defeat Thanos. They weren't fighting each other, the time they fought each other.
Race right
like,
now.
Yeah, you guys need to come together at this point and say, you know what? Mm-hmm. And then it's not only are you coming together, fine, you might want to throw slight jabs, but then they're now making very personal. She's trying to dismiss him as, you know what, he's sexist person.
Yeah, as someone that's anti-woman,
feminism, and that's. She knows, like, look, I can rally my soldiers to come after this guy.
I think that's what she was trying to do.
And that's not going to help her win this race.
Exactly. And that's what I'm saying. Did you not learn from Hillary? Like, bro, this cheap jabs and this trying to discredit, you guys stick together.
Hillary didn't even do that. I don't recall.
She didn't do it, but I mean, like,
but I'm just saying, like, she didn't push that I'm a womanism, feminism thing out there.
She pushed, Obama, black people, I got you, which she really didn't. No. She's pushing the whole, I'm a woman, this guy doesn't like women, feminist, I got you, and which doesn't mean you probably don't even think a woman can be president.
The only female right now that could be president is Oprah. You want to know why?
Why?
White women like her.
I think
white and black people like her.
They eat up everything. Every time she puts out a book that is on her list, it's like, oh, this is the best ever.
They also say
Crawdads thing is the last one.
They also say the same thing about Michelle Obama too.
Michelle Obama, I think, could.
But they like Oprah more.
But I think the reason it looks like Oprah is because Oprah has not been in the political eye. Just wait for her to come out. You're going to start saying some people trying to discredit Oprah.
They're going to come up with opposition research.
Because she's not being in the... She's more what?
She's more pro-black. She just does it covertly.
Yeah, but she's not... Oh, speaking of Oprah, we can't talk about Oprah without talking about her best friend, Tyler Perry.
Yeah,
his movie.
No, but you no, we'll get.
I have a comment,
and that's a perfect and that's a perfect segue. But before we go there, you mentioned something about Oprah being pro-black. But recently, some black folks have started questioning that, and I'll tell you why.
They always do. This is the same thing they did with Jay-Z and Beyonce. They said you guys have all this power, but you're not putting out your voice out there.
But there's a reason. There's a reason for that, and the reason is because it said that she's been behind a lot of these documentaries that have come out against black folks. The first one being the R. Kelly joint, I believe. Then there was the Michael Jackson joint.
He was a rapist.
The Michael Jackson documentary.
He was a child molester.
I'm gonna need you to name people that actually.
No, I agree.
I don't think that's.
I agree. But then, no. But then, most recently, right? She was also behind this documentary that was coming out against Russell Simmons. And so it became like the third time that it was happening, and I think it was 50 Cent. I think it was 50 Cent.
Me Too movement with Russell Simmons.
Russell Simmons,
she is
but I think
pro-woman.
I don't know, was it Russell Simmons or was it?
It was a documentary.
Yeah.
She was also behind it, but it was this bad that she had to step away from the documentary because people started saying that why is it that all of a sudden you're constantly coming for all these black men. And then they brought up the fact that Harvey Weinstein.
Oprah is a journalist.
I know.
That is where she made her bed and butter. She is a journalist at heart.
I agree.
And she has always used integrity that we know of.
I agree.
So her, I don't see anything wrong with it.
But
call it out. She likes the controversy. That's how she got really started her career, right?
But then they talk about the fact that she happened to be friends with Harvey Weinstein and she hasn't done any documentaries about Harvey Weinstein. That why would she then be coming after these black people? I'm just telling you that the backlash was enough for her to step away from this. And I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying these days it's weird how some people try to question other people's blackness because of certain things that they do.
I don't know what she's
Oprah
doing.
knew this documentaries will sell, and Harvey Weinstein is her friend. Like you said, she if Tyler Perry was accused, she's not going to do one about Tyler Perry.
Well, since you brought up Tyler Perry, has anyone seen A Fall from Grace?
I haven't seen it, but I've seen the.
Yes, I watched the whole thing.
You watched the whole
I've
thing.
seen the
Did you catch it?
Tweets, memes.
I fell asleep. I fell asleep.
What was the story
You were very
about?
lucky.
It was like a black man and.
First of all, I was just like, "Nah, this is your typical Tyler Perry show." Movie.
So I don't like
the wigs.
And I will say that, the wigs.
The wigs were
I say
terrible.
you make all this money, you can't get these people decent wigs. But one thing that came out recently is that Tyler Perry doesn't have writers.
Yeah, he said it himself.
Yeah, and he said the reason why is because he was what is that? I can't even say.
I think
he was betrayed. I'll just say betrayed by this group of writers, and but I can always tell a Tyler Perry work.
I think the reason is
And it's
because
awful.
he's I think the reason is because he might be a control freak, and I think also as a writer, you don't want to be in the studio writing the same movie 20 times.
Yes. How many times have you seen
probably
A
they
Fall
stand
from
up
Grace?
to him and say, "Hey, my guy, like we can't write this again."
The funny thing about
Yeah.
A Fall
and
from
he-
Grace, I even thought had potential to be a good story.
It had
right?
potential.
It had
let
a
me
lot
down.
of potential.
It let me.
But you can't.
He didn't
build-
even build to the climax of it when Felicia Rashad. Well, I don't want to tell the story, but
It's
when
I'm not watching
the
it.
ending.
I don't plan to watch it.
Well, I'm just saying for other people, but for the ending, I was like, all right.
Spoiler alert.
I knew
Spoiler
this
alert,
was
but-
happening when Felicia Rashad and the sun came out from the darkness.
Did you see
the
the-
dark room randomly?
It felt-
I'm thinking
Did you guys
it
see
felt
the
like the
you
ending.
didn't build to it.
It felt like the ending of a Scooby Doo.
Did you see the Boondocks
episode?
And why
of
Felicia
Corey?
Rashad? Like I don't see her.
Did you see
She's a mom.
The Boondocks
She's a TV mom. I
episode
don't see her.
years ago that was.
I heard about that.
I
They
saw it.
went for Tyler
but they
Perry.
Said, that they
Which was it?
it was an episode where they were basically just talking about how typical is this show the Boondocks.
Boondocks. Sorry, I was trying to catch the show.
They were trying to find that they made this episode of how a typical Tyler Perry movie is made. They didn't use his name, but you know it's him, and it's just about how this it was like this black woman who's married to this black Christian man, but he doesn't like her values, so he's gonna go cheat on her with somebody else, and then this topless light-skinned gardener guy comes to the house and the guy is like her savior, and then because she's a Christian woman, she tries to give her husband one last try, but then he doesn't want to, then he finds out about the light-skinned guy, then there's a lot of fights with her. It's just like the typical and then they had a My Dear character dance at the end of it, like But to be honest, he's very predictable.
And
Always.
And for someone who built his own Hollywood, I think
he has
we
his
need to
own
stop
his
making-
entire movie studio,
making,
man.
C-list
Come on.
movies. You know, it's time.
You need to get editors, film editors. The
eat it
wigs
up.
were terrible. Like there were
They ate it
clips
up.
of I don't know if you've seen clips of this Tyler Perry movie.
The
Fall
guy that
from
was
Grace.
eating. Do you
There's
see
a
the guy,
guy-
the white
I
guy
know.
eating air?
I know.
And drinking air.
And drinking air.
I know one thing.
That guy
is-
deserves an Oscar. Man.
One thing that's
'Cause he
guaranteed in a
sold
Tyler
it,
Perry
man.
movie is a bad wig. And I actually think that he's doing it on purpose at this point.
Me too. Me
'Cause
too.
you-
I'm convinced
he's
of
like,
it.
well,
So-
why?
I'm
The
convinced of
studio
it.
idea, I like it because it seems like what Bad Boys use their studio.
Yeah.
The Dolomite, I
make
think the
money off
Dolomites
of it.
use
Yeah,
their
he's
studio.
not the only one.
No, I believe
So-
Coming to America.
Coming to
Dolomite.
America, yeah, Coming to
Dolomite
America.
was
Sorry, yeah, I don't know if Dolomite. It was Coming to America that used it too.
Yeah.
So I like that idea, but you know, I'm not a fan of Nigerian movies. A lot of them, and the reason I'm not a fan is because of the writing. The writing too is similar to Tyler Perry's writing, where
Yeah.
they've gotten their production a little better.
Yeah.
It's it's a little better, but the writing is a little. There's no climax. There's no like when it's getting to the sweet part, you can just they rush to it.
But
the
hey,
creativity is not there.
But hey, just like Nollywood movies, Tyler Perry has his audience.
But he has his audience,
and they seem to like it.
They seem to like it. Yes.
So as
But
long
that's
as
how
it's
I
working
equate
for
it.
him, sure.
That's how I
Because
equate
But
it
just
to
don't
it.
expect any
Simple.
Oscars anytime soon. Is all I'm saying.
Because it's simple, it's not complex,
Yeah.
and you have people out there who don't really want to think about it.
Yes,
They want it. They're
but-
like,
Oh
oh
my
my
gosh!
gosh.
Remember, Tyler Perry writes stories based on his life experience. He talks about his
Yeah,
mom,
his mom.
aunts, their friends.
Yeah, but
These
it,
are how some people live. Like,
yes,
this is
you're
actually
right.
their
You're
life.
right.
Yeah.
But
And they can relate
I
to it.
believe
I
that
guess.
the moment you are taking the next level and building your own studio, you need to start giving us a very like a movie that we can write for and say, you know what, this guy deserves an Oscar for this movie. And
Yeah.
he's not ready to work with a
No.
team.
I don't think he cares
a
for
production
Oscars.
team
Yeah, I
like
don't
that.
think so.
Writing, he's not ready for it.
But at the least he can
Well,
do is
it's
get
not
film
ready.
edited.
not
He
ready
does
for
not
it.
want.
I mean, there's this clip where the lady in the movie in that A Fall from Grace movie,
Did you see
her
the-
hair is flat, and then in the next scene,
It looks great.
the hair is like this.
It's a different
Have you
wig.
It's a
seen
different
the-
wig.
Have you seen the one where
I didn't even pay attention to that wig.
Have you seen it? It reminds me of the one of Ray J and the hat, the beanie.
Yeah.
Have you seen that clip? There's a. Let me show you if I can find the clip of Ray J and his
Yeah.
beanie.
Well, I will say that at least he gives black actors and
A
actresses
lot of opportunities,
He gives them
yes.
opportunities
He
to
does.
get out there and perfect their craft, because really it's practice to me.
It is.
with
It
these
is.
Tyler Perry movies. It's just practice. So at least he does that.
There's this old lady that's always in his movies. She's like 100 years old. She was in this movie too.
Oh, Cicely Tyson.
Yes.
Yeah.
She's an amazing actress.
She
Yeah.
is. She is.
She's
But
won awards.
Yeah.
she has.
Cicely does it for the culture.
She sure
She does, because she came up during that time.
She sure
So
does.
she's on it, but
Can you guys see my screen?
Yeah.
Just pay attention to Ray J's beanie. Position.
It keeps changing.
And it's a different beat. It doesn't have the logo on
Every
it.
time it show him, it changes.
you're just like, why?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But do you know that Tyler Perry show, The Haves and Haves Not?
No, I haven't. No, I've heard about it.
Oh my God, it's the
You should
worst.
see.
It's a soap opera, but it's supposed to be a series.
Sorry about
And he
Ray J.
writes it.
You should see the.
And that was one they used
The
as an
worst.
example that he doesn't use writers for.
Yeah.
And there's
He
people
doesn't
with
use writers for anything
experience.
now.
It's the one Tika Sumpter is in, and the same lady from. this
What's
movie
Tyler
we're talking
Perry's
about.
best
She's
movie
the
is
mom.
that is it Daddy's Girl or something like that? What's that?
With Idris Elba.
With Idris Elba. I think that's his
That was
best
a good
movie.
movie.
Yeah.
That- yeah.
Are there any other movies?
seen that
Are
one in a while.
are there any other good shows or movies that you guys have caught recently on Netflix?
Look, I just
Like
I've
new
watched
shows?
all the Nollywood
New shows?
movies. On
Yeah,
Netflix.
new
On
shows.
Netflix?
That's all
I
I
haven't seen any new shows yet.
I don't know. I
Do you
just
guys
looked
watch
at one that
Power?
was good.
I've started
I
to
stopped.
finish
Yeah,
it.
I
I just want to
watched.
finish it. Is
Is
becoming
this
like
the
Tyler
final
Perry.
season?
I
I'm
finished
happy.
the time
Is this
on
final
Netflix.
I'm even
season?
happy.
I never watched
I haven't
it.
seen it last.
But
no, I watched
but
2 episodes.
but
Yeah.
but Ghost is dead, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
he's dead. But I'm.
Do they know
glad-
who killed him yet?
We're
Spoiler
like
alert!
going
Spoiler
through-
They
alert!
have no,
Every-
no, they
every
haven't.
character,
Yeah, every character is
possible
possible.
witness.
Yeah, but and they're eliminating people. But I'm glad it's going to an end because it's starting to feel like
Yeah.
Um.
Drag
a
on.
TP
Oh.
movie, man.
All right. Well, this is the last topic I want to touch on, and this is anyone following the Meghan Markle Harry debacle
I do.
in England.
I follow it.
Can you just give us a brief summary of like just bring us up to date for those that may not have been following?
All right, so my basic summary of it is that Meghan and Harry had got tired of dealing with all the bad press.
Yes.
And so they decided in the UK. So they decided that they wanted to separate themselves and lose their titles and start to make their own money and live away from, the spotlight and all that negativity. So they that's what they've done. They're planning on moving to Canada to set up shop.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of conversation about it right now because people are trying to figure out, like, well, why are they doing that? They feel like you're kind of selling the name. Is it because of the racist, in my opinion, the racial tension that they have because Meghan is biracial?
Yeah.
I mean, well, she's something. But so that's really what's going on. That's the basics of it. So people are just really trying to figure out why are they doing it and what's the motivation. Is it really just because of all the bad press, or is it because they have bigger, higher hopes for themselves, like making their own money and building their own brand
based off of the royal name?
It's still the royal name is still attached to them.
It's still attached.
They're not gonna.
I mean,
they're not the Sussexes anymore, but people just want to know what the motivation is. Do they think they're going to make more money on their own?
Yeah.
Do they just want the freedom? It just depends. I don't know what anyone's opinion is on it.
So what's Harry going to be doing in Canada?
Well, so that's the question because recently I think that it came out and they said that all his volunteer efforts that were tied to the royals, he's not going to be able to do. Yeah. He won't be able to wear his uniform anymore.
Yeah.
So I don't know what his job is outside of philanthropy.
Yeah, because I know Meghan Markle, she's an actress. She's probably going to get back into
she has. She just signed. She just did a voiceover for a Disney documentary. Wow.
Shout out to Harry,
but she's not getting paid for that. Yeah, but she's not getting paid for it. They're donating the funds to the safari, something like that.
You didn't see the clip?
No.
It was during the Lion King thing where Beyonce and Jay-Z were there, and she was talking to them, and Harry was talking to the exec.
Yeah.
Saying, "Hey, my wife does voiceovers."
Really? Yeah. Interesting. I had no idea.
Selling her out.
I think they were planning this for a while.
And I like the guy, man. Like, he loves her, man. So
because that's a big.
It's a big step.
First of all, he's not. He's like eighth in line, anyways. So he's not getting there anytime soon to be king.
Man. The fact that she's black is just like.
Yeah, that's the main thing. I believe that's the underline of all that negativity. And
so you think the only reason why the press goes after Meghan Markle is because she's black? All the other white celebrities in the UK that they go after, it's not because
the purity. Because she's not. So, I don't even think that's the case.
It's more about
they're very. What's the term? But it's all about It's all about your birthright.
Yeah.
For these UK people, especially the royals, it's your birthright. Yeah. I think that it would have been a little bit better, even if she was biracial.
Yeah.
If she was one of their own or had some type of birthright.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have been such a big or huge thing.
It also has to be said though that the British monarchy does have a history of American women coming.
Didn't they do it to Diana?
Well, she's not
American.
She was just a commoner, but she's not.
She was a commoner.
Commoner.
Really? I always thought she was. I always thought she was like a distant relative, like in the.
No,
she's
not.
Yeah,
she's a commoner.
If you have to have some type of like legacy, some type of birthright, come from some type of important family.
But it does have to be said that this wouldn't be the first time that an American would come into the royal family and end up taking.
Yeah, wasn't Grace Kelly? Was it Grace Kelly?
Yeah, I think it was Grace Kelly.
And she was a darling for the king that she married, and they loved her until she passed away.
And he was supposed to be the next. This guy was actually the next in line for the kingdom at that time, and because he married her, he got banished to the U.S. I mean, there's history behind this. He got banished to the U.S. And he had to lose his right. And his younger brother, I think that was the stutterer, King George, was the one that then assumed. So there's a bit of history to it that they're a little bit sensitive about. And I think that also plays a little bit into it. Because now you have Meghan Markle pretty much doing the same thing, taking this guy. Well, the way they view it is that they're taking this guy away from his birthright. and they're taking another American woman taking one of their royals. And I think that's why it's such a very, very, very bitter thing
I think
for.
it's part of it because he had been dating a
So you don't
lot
think
of
black
women
doesn't play
who are
part?
not royal.
Now, I'm sure Black also.
His girlfriend before
Yeah.
was not.
Maybe
His
that's injuries, insults
Yeah,
upon
just
injury.
being-
Now, I'm sure the fact that she was Black also played a factor into it too, for sure.
I think that's the
Basic.
largest.
You think that's the
of
main
it.
thing?
I think that's the main thing. I think they believe that she is selling their bloodline, and then on top of that, now
then
you're leaving,
And then she.
and he's leaving for this black girl.
And then she comes from a quote unquote dysfunctional family.
Yeah,
Well, I don't even think her
right.
family's as dysfunctional as they're just jealous.
Jealous
And because I don't believe
being
that she really
jealous
had that
is
type of relationship with
dysfunctional.
her father and her sister
Yeah,
like that.
yeah,
I think they're
so
just jealous.
So that even just makes everything seem so like typical, kind of stuff. But
Yeah, she's hood.
but yeah, she's
We
hood.
told
That's
you.
the word exactly.
She's
That's
this
the
little ratchet bunny.
But I have to say though, I find it ballsy that they can just be like, you know what, fuck it, we're not even doing this anymore. And for me, I feel like it's a reflection of our generation and how we don't see this, all these old establishment monarchies and old way of doing things. We're not as attached to it as older generations.
But he lost his mother to this as well.
That
and I
too.
think that also plays a
That
part
too.
in his decision.
That too.
And I mean, his mother was killed because they were so fascinated with her, whether it was good press or bad press. The paparazzi were chasing her, and she run into the wall?
Yeah.
Because they're trying to get away. He doesn't want that for his family.
That is true.
I'm sure he doesn't. So
That is true.
and moving out of the country, I think is actually the ballsy part of it. Because if they stayed, that would be different. But they're like, nah, let's just go to Canada. Let's start a new life.
But
Eventually,
Canada,
they'll probably end up
they're
in
probably
California.
not gonna be out there for long.
Yeah, I
It's
don't
just
think
like
they're
the
gonna be out there
first
long.
stop. Let's
yeah,
go there.
no one's moving.
wanna
Like
build
the
a
fact that they're
family.
moving to Canada, and apparently the Canadians don't even like that they're coming to their country.
Because they don't want all that fanfare
They
in
don't
their
want.
country.
They don't want all that. I don't know.
Should be
I
alright.
feel like
they'll be alright.
I feel like they'll
think
As
thrive.
long as they
in
can
LA.
make money, they'll be fine.
Yeah, they'll be fine. They'll be fine.
I'm just curious what Harry will do. What does he do?
What is he's gonna do the same thing he does right now?
Travel around and give money?
Philanthropy.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Well,
Oh,
we'll
this-
see.
This
sounds-
doesn't start. Wait, how does he make money?
Well,
because
because he's not supposed to be doing any. He's not
Well, how does
supposed to
he
be
make
working
money?
with companies.
How does he make money
Right now, he gets
yeah,
an income.
taxpayers.
He gets an income from the royal family.
And he will still keep getting the income.
No, that's what I'm
No,
saying.
the
They said
income is
they're
done.
cutting them off.
He actually has to
Yeah.
pay back like $2.5 million or whatever
I'm
for
sure
the
he's thought
house that
about
they
it.
renovated.
But-
Actually, his brother's gonna help him, or his father
They
is
would
gonna help him
have.
pay
They would
for
have
it.
people. Yeah, they would have money from places. They would have. They would still. And I'm
has
sure,
an
like,
inheritance, too,
I'm
I'm
sure,
sure.
like, officially
fine.
under the table, he will still be getting paid from someone.
Most
that
likely.
will-
Megan's got money
They're,
too.
they're not gonna. Well,
they're
she
not
She does?
She,
No.
her
From
money,
what?
her
From
money
Suits?
is not. Her money is
might
not
be-
his
no.
kind of money.
Not from Sydney.
Her money is her money is not his kind of money. But nah, they would definitely make him. The family will. He would have people in the family that are on his side. People he's probably spoken to before he did this,
Yeah.
and he's fine. He's not stupid.
She does seem to have a pretty big fan base. I mean, clearly we have one fan here already in the room with us, but you know, it is what it is.
Like a Mark, I could care less.
Why do Americans? Why do people all over the world in general why are they so fascinated by the royal family?
Good question.
I don't see the. big
They're
deal.
only fascinated by it now.
Yeah, I don't know.
Americans
What
are
do they do for
fascinated
us?
by it now. That's why I say I could care less.
I
about
guess
the royal
because
family.
they're kings and queens, and it's
We
still
have
just
kings
this
and queens
antiquated
in
thing.
Africa, all over Africa.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
but
they don't
the
talk
panache-
about them as much.
The panache
I don't know who they
behind-
are.
Why don't we talk about
No,
that?
also
Good
no,
question.
Well,
no, but
Good
That's a whole
question.
nother thing because
Wait.
I don't-
in
I
my
don't even know who
mind.
Prince Harry. Who are
wait.
these people?
But Prince
No,
Harry,
no,
I remember when I
let's-
was a kid getting those
the
word up. I don't know what they were.
But
Word
why?
up, but he was in them. He was in those little magazines. Him and his brother.
Why?
What do
Why
they
do
like
we
to
put
eat?
them in the magazines? Like, what do these people do for us? Why are they on the
But
news?
in-
I remember
in-
when they
but
got
in-
married, they
in-
were everywhere.
in-
Why?
Yeah.
They're almost like
They do
this.
nothing for me.
They're almost like
but
this.
I guess it's still fascinating
they're,
for that.
They're like this
for that
class of
aspect.
people that are considered more higher than the commoners. That's why you have the commoners and you have the royals, and it's almost like they are on a higher level. Pretty much, they put them on
They
this
have a
pedestal.
lot of protocols.
I mean, they're not
they
higher really
evolved
than the
in.
president.
It's-
So they're better than me and you.
They're figurehead.
Well, kind of. Well, that's how they're viewed in the UK.
They're figurehead. The queen has no political power.
Yeah, although she does get consulted. Though.
I thought she did.
She
I thought she
gets
had a little bit.
consulted.
I thought they had some
the Prime
rights and
Minister.
leeway. Oh yeah, the prime minister. But I thought they still sat on some sort of board or panel.
Yeah,
with that.
Yeah,
it's more ceremonial.
It's more
than
ceremonial.
anything.
Yeah, she doesn't have any political.
But
power,
I agree. No, you brought up a good point.
talking
Onyade.
about it.
How come we do not elevate our own royals
Well,
in
you are saying how come you can't expect a foreigner to come tell your story about the Oba of Ife or the king of Benin Kingdom, which is one of the light skin. We as a people
Fair point.
need to tell the stories ourselves. Then the king
Fair
of
point.
Benin Kingdom too is what is he doing to make
That's
his,
another
his
point that I
kingdom,
made too, yeah.
you know, what is he doing to? And then we have a lot of very ceremonial titles in Nigeria too. Anybody can be a king.
It doesn't have to just be Nigeria.
I'm
There
just
are
using. I
royals
can
all
speak
over
about
Africa.
Nigeria, but you know, and so these people to themselves, what are they doing? You know, you have the royal family where it's the family. They all live in England, or they used to. They have these protocols. They have the house. They have everything. In Nigeria, like I remember, I tried to get into the history of the king of Oni of Ife because Olashe was close to Ife, and they took us as excursion there. And
Yeah.
it was just the building seemed the palace part of it seemed a little run down. They couldn't really give me proper history about, you know, things. Artifacts were not kept well. You know, it was just.
Oh, by the way, the king of Ife is supposed to be like our ancestral
you know,
king,
things
like
were
for
not-
all Yorubas, for everyone in our tribe, in my tribe.
Yes,
basically.
and they were. It just wasn't even. You know, they tried to tell me the story of how, you know, Yoruba started and the guy coming down from the sky and everything, and the landmarks were worn out. They were not. You know, it just. I wasn't interested, man. That's just what I'm trying to say. It wasn't.
Yeah.
It didn't make me feel as cool as going to Buckingham Palace and taking a picture next to the guy in the. It wasn't packaged. It wasn't packaged
Is this
properly.
part of the oral history? Is this you're talking to me about, or is this like?
This is history.
No,
of-
it's
Like
it's-
actual history?
It's the history
Well, no,
of,
no,
our,
I mean
of our
like-
ancestors.
Yeah.
Well, the reason I said that is because I just know that I was asking, like, okay, never mind.
Yeah, but it's
because
the
I'm just
history.
saying, like, the oral history that I heard, like the griot type of stories, or this is like actual. This has happened.
This
you
is
guys
what
have,
they say happened.
Okay.
Oh, but it's more myth though.
I think it's myth.
There's
So
more.
that's
myth
why I was
to it.
curious about. I don't know how
No,
to frame that question.
yeah.
but
Oh,
that's
no.
what I was-
This is
that's
what they
I'm
claim
wondering.
is the history. I don't believe
Yeah.
somebody came from the sky.
Yeah, but it's more myth. But
You know.
but
I like that story though.
They show you like there's like a chain. They're like, this is the chain he used to come from the scam. Like, why is it only like 1 feet tall? But
we actually have a
versus imaginary. You have to use your
descendant.
imagination.
Yeti is actually a descendant of him, and she is too.
Okay.
So we have quite a few
then
princesses.
They showed me where one of the one of the gods. There's a place where one of the gods, you know, laid his staff, and the staff turned into like this long pillar, and the pillar is still there, you know, growing through like this building.
So there are brick and mortar locations that you can actually go
Yeah,
to.
they can go
and
to
see
and
it. Okay.
it, but they're not preserved as nicely as they should.
Can you imagine?
And maybe
if,
they should
if
put
we,
some money into
And
that.
then
'cause
that's
that
the
would be
thing.
good.
They
Can
don't
you
put
imagine
That
money
would be
if
good
they-
for tourism that you're
Exactly.
talking about.
Yes.
Then
That's
you
good.
have, and that's
'Cause
the
people
problem.
want to see that.
Yeah.
The you go into history of African American museum, you're going to museums all over the world, and you're seeing artifacts that should be back in Africa, in Nigeria, in these places, and the people who are in charge don't care.
Yep.
So, like, you know, you fly thousands of miles to go to a museum to see something that was taken from your country, and the people only don't care to have it back.
Or maybe it's not that. Maybe it's money.
They're
Maybe it's
more-
not that they don't care. They just
the
they might need
Oba,
the money more.
the Benin Oba of Benin Kingdom, which is one of the largest kingdoms in Africa, is more concerned about driving the newest Rolls Royce than he is about
I
telling
mean,
you.
yeah, we have some work to do.
telling
All I'm
you
saying
about his
is
culture.
that
We do.
We don't need all this fanfare. We don't need to worship the royals in the UK. Let them do their own thing. Yes, they do a lot of philanthropic work around the world, and that I can understand. But regular people too with money do the same things too, and we're not.
You just don't care
worshiping
about them.
Agreed.
So I just don't see all the hype around it. I never ever saw
I don't
it.
also.
I never got into it. I don't get it.
And one last thing for Africa is religion is also an issue with why, because a lot of times our royal families, quote unquote, are involved in some sort of traditional magic or voodoo or in their history, and religion Christianity especially pushes you away from.
Yeah, it's
these
supposed to be
things.
heretic.
That's also something that they should
traditional.
capture.
So
Because even like
they-
in New Orleans, like they capture all that. That's part of their
yeah,
history
but
too.
yeah, but Christianity makes you want to not associate with part of the way it is practiced in Nigeria makes you not want to be a part of.
They'll say it's
thing.
like a demonic.
It's a demonic fetish thing.
Well, I
so
mean,
yeah, so it's very hard.
But
It's-
still,
it is.
you can kind of give it,
You
appreciate
can, you
it.
can.
Create
We
something
have a
where you
long
can
way to go.
appreciate
We
all these
probably
different
get there
things.
one day, but we don't know how to keep history, man. We don't know how to teach history.
But I will say the Oba of the Oni of Ife has started giving out awards to people. So you know the way
Yeah, I saw when he
you know
gave
you
the
know the
awards
way the
to-
Queen knights people.
Yeah, he's giving awards. Yeah.
He gives awards too, but it didn't really get as much coverage. I saw a little bit about it, but we're kind of over time now. I don't know if there are any last words I wanted to put out there, starting with Onyade.
Corey likes to eat cough drops as candy.
No, I don't.
And
that
he
what
just
he's been
ate
eating?
one.
No.
And I try to tell him like that is not like it's not candy.
It's Halls. It's Halls.
Yeah, but it's not
You can
That's a
technically
little
overdose
disturbing.
on menthol.
Yeah.
So those are my last remarks. Don't eat another one in front of me.
All right, I'm just gonna leave that. Danny.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm always in the middle. I never know what to say after some of these comments, but that's dangerous. And the other thing is that I'm interested in just getting more into the history too of all the things that we discussed today, not just the African royals and things like that, and try to figure out how do you start making that a priority. Like, what would be a plan?
Yeah, man.
For that. So I'm interested to see where that's going.
So
Because I didn't realize it. Go ahead.
We're gonna have to book you a ticket tonight to Lagos one of these days.
She has to go to Ife, man.
Nah.
That's the
Yeah, I'm
place
ready to
where-
go.
You had to go to Ife. It's a 3-hour drive from Lagos.
Okay.
Wale, what you got?
Nothing.
Nothing on. No more warnings for Davido.
No.
This guy be coming hard on Davido, man.
He's smart. If Peruzzi really did buy himself a house, then I guess he got his money, so he should pay the man who he owes money to and just keep moving.
I want an
on,
update on this.
You know, I do really want him to pay the man the money. That's all.
Yeah. But yeah, we're gonna have to keep track of the whole Peruzzi Davido situation
And-
because I think that's gonna be a very big item.
Kings League guy, you want your money, but going about trying to slander Davido's relationship is not the way to.
Yeah, it seems a bit.
It's over the top.
underhanded.
Yeah, it's good story and like whoa, but that's not really how you get your money back.
Yep.
You know, I mean your support that you deserve every dollar you are asking for back, but not by this way.
Yeah. And for me, my last words are. This show was brought to you by. It wasn't brought to you by anyone.
But it could be.
It could be. Could be.
Like this is where you should say your product is from. If this is the place, you gotta be saying some dumb shit like that. It's like,
now as you can see, we have a banner now. So if you watch our YouTube videos,
so you're gonna be carrying this thing with you everywhere.
Yeah, every goddamn place.
It's actually very portable. It folds down.
Where'd you get this from?
Online.
Somewhere.
Online.
Yeah, so for those that don't know, the sign is right there. Follow us on Smiling Suffer on Facebook. We're also on Instagram, Smiling_Suffer, on Twitter @SmilingPod, and we're available to stream on iTunes, Apple iTunes, and Spotify, and YouTube. And we're going to be putting a lot more clips out there, so please subscribe to our YouTube page. It's just search for Smiling Suffer. Share our videos, share our clips, like, comment, follow us on Twitter. We appreciate the support. We're going to be putting out a lot more content this year and a lot more clips, shorter clips, so that they can be easily digestible and shared. Outside of that, I don't have anything else to add. It's good to be back. I've been looking forward to this, and I'm looking forward to a great year ahead of having discussions on this podcast. So with that said, Wale, can you introduce us to our
I have one last thing to say.
Yes.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. You're right.
Happy New Year. All right.
If
So
you see the Curb Your Enthusiasm episode?
No. Yeah. So
Larry David said the cutoff is 3 days.
3 days.
I've said it.
3 days.
It's done. I've said it.
It's never too late.
3 days.
It's never too late.
So Wale, who's this kid? Wale did some. He did a little bit of.
I just heard the
digging in
radio.
Niger. Okay, all right.
Guys, apparently the song even came out in like November or something like that, October. It's been out for a while. He signed to the same label as the guy who signed Tenny.
Oh, okay. Dr. Dollar. Okay.
The guy's name is Hotkid, and the song is called Hosana.
Hotkid. Couldn't come up with the back. Come on. Oh well.
Is that any different?
What?
Like Bobrisky.
Yeah, Bobrisky is already established.
Yeah.
What do you have? Can we stay away from the kids? Jeez.
Oh, and you all should go root for my man Burna Boy tomorrow at the Grammys, man.
Yes, sir.
He deserves to bring it on.
We're gonna talk about that next week.
He deserves to bring it on, man.
So please try to catch the Grammys if you can. All right. So this is Hosana by Hotkid. Goodbye.
Like a typical Afrobeat song.